Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Barb High School here in Lake Charles, Louisiana, where your Wreckin Rams will be taking on the Barbe Bucks tonight in Week 6 of Louisiana High School football. Thank you for tuning in to Wreckin Ram Productions here on YouTube. As always, your play-by-play guy, Cole Gilbo, and on the side of me, my very good friend and my broadcast partner, Nick Fodno. Nick, it's Week 6 already. Acadiana's off to a 2-0 start in district. Another tough opponent in Barb, somebody that Acadiana's very familiar with and has been playing for a long time. We know how hard it is to win on the road here in Lake Charles. I'm expecting a battle tonight.
Anytime you play Barb on this field, in this stadium, strange things happen. I mean, we've seen some strange games, some strange where, the team that's not supposed to win comes out ahead. Even 2 years ago, which I'm sure we're going to touch on, Barb had that game in the bag, and Acadiana pulled some tricks out to get that win. So I don't think it's going to be like the last couple weeks. I don't think they're going to roll on this team. I don't think they're going to shut them out. They could surprise me, and maybe they will. But I think Barb's going to give them a matchup. I would expect Acadiana to win the game, but I think Barb's going to be a tough opponent tonight, Cole.
Well, a bright spot for Acadiana for the last 2 weeks, as many of you know, Jonah Goche has been out with a minor toe injury. He is dressed out tonight, folks. So Jonah Goche is a go, and he is the workhorse of this offense. But we want to give credit still to Tayton Collins and Parker Bruno and the likes of Sean Seymour and Troy Kinderson. The running back stable that Acadiana's had the last couple of weeks in his absence hasn't missed a beat. And that's just a credit to the coaching staff. And whenever you could see those young guys getting significant playing time, it gives you a kind of a smile on your face because you get a chance to look at what's ahead for Acadiana.
It's been truly amazing what they've done. They didn't really skip a beat. You talk about a player like Jonah Goche, who is as electric as he is, and that bell cow running back that we always talk about. For him not to be in the lineup the last 2 weeks and then to put up the points and the yards on the ground that they did in the last couple of weeks, led by Tayton Collins, but Logan Charles, he had a good game. Parker Bruno got back into the mix and got his confidence back after that fumble at STM. So, I think the coaches did a great job, and I think that's a credit to Matt and what he's doing with the roster and realizing we were playing New Iberia and Sulphur, and not to discount them, but I think Acadiana knew they were going to win the game, and if anything was bothering Jonah, even the minorest of toe injuries, keep him out of the lineup, and it just proves how big that decision was to let Jonah rest and not really skip a beat. We saw the offense really have their way with both New Iberia and Sulphur, so you really didn't need Jonah. And I think talking to Matt the last couple of weeks after the game, he said if we needed him, he could play. So it wasn't like this really bad injury that was going to keep him out any extended time. So I think it's going to be interesting to see how he is. Will he be a little rusty, or will he just pick up right where he left off tonight? But if Jonah's in the game, I'm sure they're going to feed him pretty often.
And no, let's talk about the defensive side of the ball. Acadiana comes in not allowing an offensive score in 3 weeks, dating all the way back to STM. We've talked about how they needed to get off the fast starts. We saw it last week against Sulphur. Acadiana got off to a very quick start, scoring 14 points both offensively and defensively within the first minute of the ball game. But let's say that Acadiana does start on the defensive side, where, to my surprise, or non-surprise I should say, the defensive line for the Terrible Turks has been phenomenal starting this season halfway through so far.
They're not letting anybody up the middle, which was great. We were talking to the Barb announcers pregame, and he was kind of asking me what happened in that Ruston game and why we dropped it. And what I told him was, whenever the quarterback would get outside, we kind of didn't really have an answer for that. And so getting outside is what has really given Acadiana as much fits as anybody has this year. But the interior lineman on the Terrible Turks defense is not allowing anything in the running game. And when you can stop a team from running and kind of make them one-dimensional and having to pass in high school football, you really don't want to pass all that often in high school football, because chances are it's gonna allow for somebody to make a mistake. And so when you start getting these teams down by a bunch of points early and not running the football, they tend to have to pass. And I think it's been a credit to the defense. And we've talked about it last week. It was 2 straight games without a touchdown. After the Sulphur game, 3 consecutive games the defense is not allowed a touchdown. So, I mean, that's huge. I don't know if I can ever remember that happening, but the defense is just not allowing much yardage-wise, and definitely not allowing anybody to score touchdowns.
And that definitely makes it easier for your veer machine. When the opposing team's got a 0 on the scoreboard, like I said at the end of last week, the veer machine can do whatever it needs. You can score a touchdown and win the game. So, it's very comfortable knowing that you are okay, or more than okay, I should say, on both sides of the ball. Just want to tell you guys, we are away tonight, so it's not going to be your typical broadcast that you've been used to the last 2 weeks with the nice cameras and whatnot. We are back on our cell phones, if I'm being honest with you. Me and Nick Fodno are the only two, producers, if you will, in the booth tonight, so we will be manning the cameras. I'm going to try to do a much better job for you this week, of course. But thank you for tuning in. We really appreciate you guys tuning in back home, and even Barb fans that may be watching tonight. So, we do appreciate that. And Nick, if you're ready to roll, we're going to go ahead and give you your Wreckin' Rams starting lineups.
Starting lineup tonight for the Acadiana Wreckin Rams. First for the Veer Machine offense, at quarterback, senior number 4, Caden DeBetta. At wide receiver, Russell Babineau, senior number 8, and sophomore Colin DeBetta, number 6, and senior number 17, Carver Swallow. At running back, senior number 23, Jonah Goche. We have confirmed. We saw him dressed out. He's warming up. He will be starting tonight. Also, senior Tayton Collins, number 9, and number 22, senior Parker Bruno. The tight end, senior number 83, Jaden Bassar. On the offensive line, starting at center, senior number 71, Robert Welch. At guard, senior number 52, Brody Estes, and senior number 51, Braxton Scriber. Outside on the tackle position, senior number 70, Kavini Wilson. Senior number 99, Jaden Lawrence. Starting lineup for the Terrible Turks defense. On the defensive line, at end, the junior number 87, Darius McKinley, and senior number 17, Amarian Cooper. On the interior defensive tackle, senior number 54, Valen Charles, and senior number 88, Jaden Carmouche. At linebacker, senior number 0, Pop Francis, senior number 3, Keldrick Francis, junior number 5, Gavin Coleman. At cornerback, senior number 1, Dalen Lewis, and senior number 24, Braylon Noel. Starting at safety tonight, senior number 7, Keeman Thibodeau, junior number 15, JL Malbrew, junior number 12, Keon Lede, and the specialist for the Wreckin' Rams tonight. Your kicker will be senior number 13, Eddie Hernandez, and the punter and holder, number 5, Ty Lamartine.
And that's your starting lineups for the Wreckin' Rams tonight. We have about 11 minutes and some change before the starting kickoff, but we're going to go ahead and give you some facts and figures about your Wreckin' Rams. The Wreckin' Rams are currently ranked number 3 in 5A, coming in with a 4-1 record, 2-0 in District 3 5A. They're led, of course, by head coach Matt McCullough in his 7th year. Last week, Acadiana had that nice 45-0 win against Sulphur at Bill Dotson Stadium. In the series against Barb, last year, Acadiana took a 57-6 win back at home. Acadiana's actually won the last 8 matchups with Barb. The last Barbe Buccaneer win was back in 2014. Let's talk about your Veer Machine for a second. Currently averaging 39.4 points per game, led by senior quarterback number 4, Caden DeBetta. On the season, he has 441 yards passing and 6 touchdowns. Last week, he also had 75 yards rushing. We confirmed that the pit bull, number 23, senior Jonah Goche, will be a go tonight. Well, he has missed the last 2 weeks, but get this, folks, through the 3 weeks he did play, 566 yards rushing and 7 touchdowns. On the side of him is going to be the senior number 9, Tayton Collins. Last week he had 53 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns through 1 half of play. And go out wide, we're going to turn it over to the Ragin' Cajun, the senior number 8, Russell Babineau. Last week he had 49 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns on the ground. And receiving, he had 65 yards. The big men, we love to give them some love. They're going to be led by number 52, Brody Estes, number 51, Braxton Scriber, number 71, Robert Welch, number 70, Kavini Wilson, number 99, Jaden Lawrence, and the tight end, number 83, Jaden Bassar. We love to show the big men of that Veer Machine some love. Let's turn the page to your Terrible Turk defense, allowing only 12.6 points per game through 5 weeks. Again, we mentioned they have not allowed a single point in the last 3 weeks. Tackle leaders for your Wreckin' Rams, led by number 87, the little brother that ain't so little, junior defensive end Darius McKinley, leading the team with 31 tackles. Behind him, number 5, junior Gavin Coleman, linebacker, with 26. Number 7, senior Keeman Thibodeau has 23. Number 11, senior Defensive end Amarian Cooper has 22. Number 54, senior defensive tackle Valen Charles with 21. And senior Jaden Carmouche with 21 as well. Your sack leaders for your Terrible Turks. Again, number 87, Darius McKinley leading the team with 6. Behind him is number 11, Amarian Cooper with 2. And number 3, Keldrick Francis with 1. Actually, there's 3 guys with 1. That would be Keldrick Francis, Valen Charles, and Dante Chavis. Your interception leaders for the Wreckin' Rams, the ball hawk himself, senior cornerback Dalen Lewis leading the team with 3. And behind him, tied at 1, is Keeman Thibodeau and Keldrick Francis. Forced fumbles on the year. There's only one player on this list, and that's Keeman Thibodeau with 1. And last week we saw our first defensive touchdown of the season, which is number 3 senior Keldrick Francis with that pick 6 on the first defensive play of the game. Looking ahead, Nick, next week, Acadiana will be back at home, Bill Dotson Stadium, where they will play the Lafayette High Mighty Lions, which I know is your favorite and non-favorite rivalry of the year. So, again, looking forward for the Lafayette Mighty Lions to be coming into Bill Dotson next week. But we have our hands full tonight, and we are in Lake Charles at Alfred Barb Stadium. Your Wreckin' Rams, again, taking on the Barbe Buccaneers tonight. And I tell you what, while we're here talking about it, we will give you guys a little info about Barb. Barb comes in 3-2 on the year, 1-1 in District 3-5A. They were able to beat Carencro 2 weeks ago and fell to Southside last week, 31-14. Their offense is averaging 30.6 points per game currently. They're going to be led by quarterback Jalandon Gray, running back Landon Kirkland, wide receiver Luke Leger, and running back DeMarcus Bryant. Defensively, they're allowing 31.2 points per game. Key players on the defensive side of the ball: defensive back Jack Saunier, defensive back Dane Dixon, defensive lineman Connor Valaire, and defensive lineman Cortland Houston. So that's a little bit of info for the Barbe Buccaneers for you. We're about 7 minutes away from kickoff, and we talked about it before, Nick. It's a great night for football. The weather's great. I know many of you back home are watching, and we thank you for tuning in, of course. I do want to give a shout out before the game starts for those watching from the alumni tournament in Judy's Park. We appreciate you guys tuning in, and we are excited to bring you another week of District 3-5A Louisiana football. So, any keys to the game for you? Any predictions? Anything like that, Nick?
Well, like I said earlier, I think Acadiana wins the game. I'm not sure it's going to be the blowout type of game that we've had in the last couple of weeks. Now, it might be 2 or 3 scores, 4 scores maybe, but I would expect Barb to do a little bit of damage. I mean, I know Barb has been down the last few years, and I know that they're not quite where they used to be in the past. But things that happen like I said, things that happen when Barb plays on this field in this city with these officials, you never know what's going to happen and what we're going to get. So I do expect Acadiana to really not have problems with Barb, but I think they'll win the game handily. But I just don't think it's going to be as easy, as seamless as the last couple weeks have been. When you think about that New Iberia game and the Suffolk game, their starters were out by halftime. I mean, really, you could have taken them out at the end of the second quarter, and I don't think it's going to be that kind of game. And honestly, that's what they need. Like, Acadiana needs to be tested. They need some competition. I mean, if they just run through this district schedule with nobody, giving them any kind of competition, any kind of competitive games. Once they get into the postseason, they're not going to have that experience of facing any adversity or having anybody that can kind of challenge them. And once you get into the postseason and you start playing the Cards and the Turlingses of the world, right? Those teams are going to be tough. And if you're playing a steady dose of easy walkover teams, you're not going to be as prepared as you want to be. So I'm kind of hoping that Barb gives them a little challenge. I mean, I like I said, I don't think Barb has enough to get it done tonight, but I do hope it's a competitive game because I think Acadiana needs that.
I fully agree, Nick, and we talked a lot last week and the week before about Acadiana's been in control, of the district for a couple of weeks now. Who's that number 2 team? We've seen Carencro struggle early this year. Southside's having a little success. Sam Houston's having a little success. But who's really going to challenge for that number 2 position? But I fully agree with you. I mean, you don't want to just walk out on the field and just blow out to where your starters aren't playing, the majority of the game. You do need some battle-tested games, and what better way to come on the road in a tough Barbe Buccaneers stadium. So we're going to go ahead. I'm going to open up this window right here, and we're going to listen to the invocation tonight.
Go along this game in a kind spirit of good sportsmanship, and your protection covers each player. I pray that you are present on the field, and every player's performance reflects your glory and humility. In Jesus' name, amen.
Now please remain standing as we honor America with the playing of the national anthem by our own Barb Band of Blue.
And that's your national anthem brought to you by the Barbe Buccaneer Band. And we're about 2.5 minutes away from kickoff, waiting for the captains to come down on the field. Again, we want to thank you for tuning in tonight. This is not the typical home broadcast you've seen the last couple of weeks, but we do thank you guys for being patient with us as we bring you some Wreckin' Ram football. Captains tonight for the Rams: number 17, Carver Swallow; number 1, Dalen Lewis. Actually, looks like I got 2 number 1s right here. It is. It's going to be Dalen Lewis and Parker Robichaux, and number 9, Tayden Collins. Down on the field, just waiting for the referee to give his instructions as well as perform the coin toss. But again, it is a beautiful night for football. That fall weather in the air. I mean, we joked about it last week. I'm a hot weather man, but I can get used to this weather. It's not too hot, not too cold. It's definitely some high school football weather for sure, and a beautiful night for football. Especially got lucky the last couple of weeks with the rain. You know, we thought we might get a little bit last week, missed it. And it's been a great season as far as weather goes so far.
I don't understand how you like that hot.
I love it.
Sticky, just nasty, sweaty hot. You love it.
If Dylan Scott's tuning in, he calls me a lizard. He's a lizard. And I tell you what, my wife's the same way. But so Barb has won the toss and elected to receive.
Smart.
So Acadiana, the Terrible Turks are going to start this game off on the field. So we're going to get a chance. I mean, we're going to get a chance to see right away what Barb can do against this stout Terrible Turk defense.
Normally, I like to defer if you win the toss in all situations, but there are certain situations where it makes sense to take the ball, and I think that Barb is very smart to take the ball here, which you don't want to give the ball right to Acadiana and have them go all the way down, put you behind, and now you're steady playing back. You're steady playing catch up. So I like Barb taking the ball here, trying to get something working, trying to get something going, and see if they have anything to kind of get this Wreckin' Rams defense on their heels. I mean, it's going to be tough. We've seen Acadiana not really give up too much in the last 3 weeks. So if Barb's going to want to do something, they're going to try to get it done early. But hopefully the defense is up for the call.
Eddie Hernandez down on the field to kick. Little side note for you: tonight is senior night for Barb. Got to see them run through their seniors, both on football and the band. So it's senior night for the Barbe Buccaneers, and Acadiana's look to play spoiler on their senior night. So a lot of pink out here tonight. Breast cancer awareness, pink pom-poms for the Wreckin' Rams. I see Barb players with some pink accessories down there, as well as the Acadiana players. So
Cole, you talked about Eddie Hernandez, who's going to be kicking off. The young man got a couple of invites. Northwestern State and UL also invited him to maybe take a look at it. Maybe he'll be kicking for one of those teams coming up.
Eddie's been very impressive this year so far, and we wish nothing but the best for him going forward as he does his recruiting. Kickoff. This one's high. This one's deep. This one's going to be taken in the end zone. And Barb's going to start this one 1st and 10 at their 20-yard line. So here come the Terrible Turks, looking to put their stamp on the game early. Let's see how they do.
I mean, we keep beating the head over the bush or whatever the saying is, but they haven't let any touchdowns in 3 straight weeks. So if Barb's going to get it done, they'll have to come up with something miraculous because this Terrible Turks defense, especially like you mentioned in the pregame, the defensive line has been outstanding. They haven't been able to get much going, any offensive team. And so, like I said, I think Barb's going to offer a little bit more than the last couple of weeks, but we'll see if the defense can keep that streak alive.
Barb led by sophomore quarterback Jalandon Gray. 2 receivers far side, 2 near side, and a running back behind Gray. Hard count looks to the sideline for a play. 14 seconds on the play clock. Slot goes in motion. Snap. It's going to be a handoff up the middle. Spins off a tackle, but he's not going to get anything. He's actually going to lose about 3 yards. So a great job by the defensive line on the first play of the game. It's going to be 2nd and 13.
Yeah, I mean they're gonna have to be a little bit more creative than that. I know the game's just starting, first play of the game. You want to kind of try to soften them up, but I don't think any plays like that are gonna work against this Acadiana front. I mean, just look at the difference in size, Cole. The Acadiana defensive line and the offensive line for Barb. I mean, the difference in size is amazing, and I think that's why Acadiana's had so much success. They're just bigger and faster than most of the teams they're playing.
2 receivers far side, 2 to the near side, but the far receiver from the far side comes in motion. 3 near side and a running back in the shotgun. Snap, low snap, handoff again. That's going to be Amarian Cooper bringing down the running back behind the line of scrimmage, but there is a flag on the far side of the field. As it stands, it's about a loss of 5. Let's see what the call is.
We've seen so many outstanding individual athletic efforts from the Rams, from Darius McKinley, and we've seen it from Keeman Thibodeau as well. And right there, Amarian Cooper busts through the line of scrimmage and gets that great sack behind the line. So I mean, it's everybody on the team playing together, but a lot of individual efforts too that we can point out, and it's been very impressive to watch.
Waved off the penalty, so it will be a loss of about 5, and Barb's going to be looking at about a 3rd and 18 here. 3rd and longs have been the story for Acadiana's defense the last 2 or 3 weeks, and you get another chance to get them to punt it early to your offense.
Yeah, unlike the Saints, when the Rams get a team in 3rd and long, they usually get off the field.
Oh, Nick. For those of you who don't know, my broadcast partner Nick Fodno is a big Saints fan, as am I, but last couple of weeks have not been kind to us. 3rd and long, 2 receiver to far side, 1 near side, and a running back in the shotgun next to Gray. Snap. Handoff up the middle. Going to get a short gain, maybe a gain of 3 or 4. Nonetheless, it's going to be 4th and about 13, and Barb's going to go ahead and punt this one.
Yeah, I think that's a smart move for Barb, and we've seen teams do that in the last few weeks where they're just going to kind of give up the drive. And I mean, the field position that Barb's in, that makes a lot of sense. Not really trying to go for it. Your chance for success is pretty slow, so just kind of punt the ball and let the Wreckin Rams offense get on the field.
Hard to see a number right here, but I do believe that is Russell Babineau back deep for the Rams. Snap is high, and he kind of drops it, tackles him at the line, ball's on the ground. Let's see what they call.
I think they're calling.
They're going to mark him at the 1 yard line, and that is okay with the Wreckin Rams. So Acadiana's veer machine is going to start this game off. 1st and goal. You want to take a bet on what the play call is going to be, Nick?
I think it's probably going to be, what do you call it?
Right 34 veer, bread and butter. Now, if you want to get Goche back in the game real quick right now, you can let him punch it in.
He's in the game. 23's in there.
23 is in the game. But I expect nothing but the bread and butter right here, Nick. Right, 34 veer. Let's go on the scoreboard, 7-0. How about it?
Well, let's just talk about what happened on that play. I mean, absolute disaster for Barb. That's not what you want to happen for sure.
Again, fans, bear with me as we do the camera work tonight. Handoff. Goche doesn't get in. Decided to hit it for the 33. Not able to get a yard, though. It's going to be 2nd and goal, no gain right there.
Well, if they were to listen to you and maybe done what you said, the 34, they might have got in, but instead they go the opposite way, and it didn't quite work. So let's see what happens here. Is somebody down there listening to the broadcast and doing what Cole says here for the next one?
1 receiver, far side. 32 veer. Touchdown Rams. Tayden Collins with the first touchdown of the night for the Wreckin' Rams. And we talk about fast starts. Well, guess what, Nick? 2 plays, you're in the end zone, and that's because your special teams was able to make another play.
Yeah, not only that, but you didn't even get the ball first. So what do we have left in this game? 9:49. So under 4 minutes of gameplay, and you're already on the board. You get the ball in the second half. Like, it's a disaster for Barb and everything you want for Acadiana.
Eddie Hernandez to kick. Kick is up.
I don't know. We ain't gonna.
Kick is good.
Let's try to work on it.
So with 9:49 left to go in the first quarter, Acadiana takes an early 7-0 lead. We're going to take a short timeout, but we'll be back with more Wreckin' Ram football on Wreckin' Ram Productions. Welcome back. 9:49 left in your first quarter. Acadiana leading 7-0, and Eddie Hernandez to kick. It's a high one. It's a deep one, and that young man can flat out kick the football. 1st and 10, Barbe Buccaneers at the 20-yard line.
You got to start questioning the decision to punt the football if you're playing against Acadiana. When something disastrous goes on, like giving the Acadiana the ball at the 1, or no matter where you give them the ball, they're probably going to score a touchdown. So at this point, for the opposing teams, if you make the decision to punt the ball, you're basically giving Acadiana points. We've seen it now 3 weeks in a row. Punting the ball to Acadiana will equal points on the board. So, I mean, you really got to make some tough decisions if you're Barb.
1st and 10, 2 receivers far side, 1 to the near side, a wing to the left of the quarterback. Handoff up the middle. Met at the line of scrimmage. They'll give them a gain of 1. It's going to be 2nd and 9.
I mean, this defense is here to play tonight. They haven't allowed any kind of positive yardage thus far on any play run, and they're just stuffing Barb almost at the mesh point. So, I mean, they did gain 2 yards there, but they're not giving up these big chunks, and I think you'll give up a 2-yard gain any time. So the defense is here to play. We haven't been able to see the offense because they only had a 1-yard drive for a touchdown, but nonetheless, it looks like the defense is still very stout and very difficult for other teams to get any kind of positive momentum going.
2 receivers to the near side, 1 far side, and a wing to the right side of the formation. Receiver goes in motion, rolls out near side, looking. He's going to dump it off to his running back. Going to bring it around the 25. Will be tackled at about the 28 or 29-yard line. They're going to work him at the 30, actually. Right at the stick. I think he's going to be just a yard short. No, they're going to move the sticks, Nick. It will be first down for the Barbe Buccaneers there. So a good little rollout play by the quarterback, and Barbe puts it in the air for the first time tonight.
Yeah, it's like a little over pursuit there by the Wreckin' Rams defense. Couldn't quite get to him and kind of left them wide open on that pass on the rollout for a nice play. So first down for Barbe, and look, it's not much, but it's positive, right? It's a first down. You're moving the ball, and so we'll see if they'll be able to kind of keep this up against this Wreckin' Ram defense.
Go check.
2 receivers near side, and that's going to be offsides against Acadiana. They kind of did a full swing, basically. It looked kind of like a swinging gate you would see on a point after, but Acadiana not able to keep themselves. Let me see. That was number 9. I only have one number 9 on my roster, Nick, and that's Tayden Collins. I don't imagine Tayden's playing defense. I'm not sure. That was definitely number 9 for the Rams that jumped off sides, but don't have an updated roster. But nonetheless, it's going to be 1st and 5, ball at the 35, and pre-snap penalties. I mean, it hasn't killed you the last couple of weeks. It definitely didn't kill you last week, of course. Getting better as the weeks go on, but pre-snap penalties have been a storyline for Acadiana.
I mean, you're playing against opponents that it's probably not going to hurt you against, but once you get further into the season, you got to clean it up, and it's been an issue in every single game so far.
2 receivers near side, 1 far side, running back behind Gray. Snap. It's the option near side. Pitches it. brought down out of bounds. He's going to lose about 2 yards, so it'll be 2nd and 7. Ball's going to be brought back to about the 33-yard line. Great job right there for the Rams to get outside.
Yeah, great job by everybody, kind of keeping their assignments, keeping their responsibilities, and being able to do a good pursuit on the quarterback, good coverage on the pitch man, and they were right there to make the play. Nice job by the defense.
2nd and 7. Ball at the 33. Looks like it's going to be 3 receivers to the far side, 1 receiver near side, and 1 running back behind Gray in the shotgun. Near side receiver goes in motion, swings it out, and he's met. As he catches the ball, that's Keeman Thibodeau. I think they're going to call that an incomplete pass, but what a great job by Keeman Thibodeau to break through those blockers and flat out lay out the wide receiver for an incomplete pass.
Lots of motion there on the Barb offense, kind of causing some confusion, and the Acadiana Wreckin are right there picking up everything, and of course Keeman Thibodeau letting a big hit on the kid. It looks like he's down and kind of hurt, but what a great play by Keeman to get there. Really, Keeman's been doing that all year long, being the man to kind of find that play, make big hits. He had a punt block in that first game of the year, so Keeman's having a nice season so far.
I can say that about really all of the defensive
Absolutely.
backs for Acadiana so far. Dalen Lewis, Keeman Thibodeau, of course, Braylon Noel. I mean, that's just some of the, the good thing about this defense is there's not a weak link, at least through this season. I mean, they pretty much played as an adhesive unit. And, I mean, if you're trying to have these state championship aspirations, which Acadiana does every year, that's the kind of football you want to see. If your defensive backs are playing as a whole unit, causing trouble for the passing game, because we know what the front 7 can do. We've seen them shut down the run so far this year. But if you got that talent behind that front 7 that's also causing problems for the passing game, I mean, where's your weak link? It's impressive so far.
Yeah, and another thing is every week it seems like we're calling a different player's name.
Correct.
Val and Charles we call 1 week. Dalen Lewis we call 1 week. Now this week it looks like Keeman Thibodeau is making a few plays. We've already called Amarian Cooper, who had a nice individual effort tonight. So it's like there's no real guy who you have to count on to be the playmaker on this defense. They have 5, 6, 8 guys. Really, the whole starting lineup can be the guy to make a play at any given moment, and that really relieves the pressure from anybody else. I think last year they had 2 or 3 guys you were counting on for every game. This year it's not like that. The entire defense can kind of make a play and really set the tone for the game.
3rd and 7. Here's the snap. 3-step drop, looking far side. Still looking. Rolls back. He's going to just throw this one away. He's going to throw it away. Dalen Lewis was in the area of the ball. There's your ball hawk. But Barb going to go ahead and look like they're bringing the punting unit on this one. And Terrible Turk defense doing a good job getting that Barb offense, only limiting them to 1 first down, and Acadiana's veer machine going to get the ball back.
Yeah, I mean, it's really tough for opposing teams to get anything working. We're not even just talking about points. We're just talking about positive yardage. Acadiana's been so good in the last few games trying to just limiting offenses to do anything offensively.
Snap. This one's a good one. The punt is blocked.
I mean, wow.
The punt is blocked. Amarian Cooper with a punt block, and that is the 2nd time already in this game. I mean, we're only 4 minutes into this ball game, and already the special teams for the Wreckin' Rams has made 2 plays, and your veer machine has the ball in plus territory. I mean, but starting fast.
That's week. Exactly what I was saying, Cole. At this point, you really have to question why even punt. Why are we even punting? It's either going to be a mistake or you're going to give the Rams the ball in pretty good field position and they're going to go down and score. So it's you almost want to go for it every time, no matter what the down and distance is or where you are on the field, because if you punt it, Acadiana is going to make you pay.
1 receiver to each side. Handoff. That's Tayden Collins. Not able to break a tackle, but he does get a gain of 2 or 3. Let's call it 3. Looks like it's going to be 2nd and 7.
Look, I want to clarify. Obviously, you're not going to go for it on a 3rd and 12 from the 25, right? Obviously, you're going to punt the ball. But honestly, punting the ball is giving up points. I mean, that's just what it's been the last 2 weeks. That's what it's been this week. I mean, they're already inside the red zone. Now, Sulphur has punted twice, and Acadiana has gotten the ball inside the red zone both times. You really have to consider, why are we even going to punt at all?
2nd and 8. Option, far side, pitches it. It's a high pitch. It's on the ground. Jonah Goche picks it up, but he's going to lose a large chunk of yards let's call it a loss of 6 or 7, and Acadiana is going to be looking at a 3rd and long. Ball is going to be at about the 22-yard line.
And Cole, I mean, Jonah got up limping. I mean, he did. He took a big hit, and he got up limping. I mean, I think he's going to be fine. And we've heard the last couple of weeks that it wasn't a serious injury, but it is a toe. And, I mean, any little thing like that can kind of re-aggravate it. And so he got up kind of limping, a little bit hampered by that toe. He's going to stay in the game, but, I mean, it's something to keep an eye on for sure.
3rd and 15. Ball to the 22. 3-step drop. Looking. Rolls out near side. Still looking downfield. Pulls up and throws it to the end zone.
Wow.
And that's a touchdown. Great throw by Caden DeBetta to get out the pocket. And if I'm not mistaken, that's the little brother, Colin DeBetta, on the touchdown reception. 6 points for your Wreckin' Rams.
That play from Caden DeBetta was fantastic. I mean, he evaded the rusher and then kept his eyes down the field all the time. And Cole, I don't know about you, but I thought he was going to take off running. I mean, he had a lot of open field in front of him. I figured he was going to take off running, kept his eye down the field. And a great play by Colin. Colin's probably not going to get as much credit as he should for that play, but he was covered. He was triple covered, and he eventually got open. And by the time Caden made the throw, Colin was wide open in the end zone for 6.
6:30 left to go in the first quarter. Acadiana leading 13-0 against the Bucks, pending the extra point. Ty Lamartina to hold. Eddie Hernandez to kick. Snap good. Kick is up. Kick is good. 14-0 Wreckin' Rams. And I mean, I said it a lot the last 2 weeks, Nick. Starting fast, putting people away early, that's been the MO. That needs to be the MO for the Wreckin' Rams this year. And, I mean, another fast start and 14-0 in the blink of an eye.
And they're not even having to really put forth any effort, especially in this game so far. They've gotten the ball inside the red zone, both offensive possessions, and it really hasn't been much of an effort for the Wreckin' Rams. So,
Tayden Collins.
Sorry, the Barb radio team came ask us who number 9 was, but nonetheless, not a whole lot of effort needed from the Wreckin' Ram offense to put 14 points on the board. We're not even 6 minutes into the game, and we're already up 2 touchdowns. And I mean, this is just what it's been every week. And I'm gonna be honest, I didn't think it was gonna go this way tonight. And I mean, there's still a lot of football left to be played, but Barb doesn't look like they have any answers for the Wreckin' Rams defense, and Acadiana's offense is as fresh as you could possibly be, having put up 2 touchdowns. So, I mean, it could be another one of those nights again where we're looking at the starters maybe coming out of the game early.
Well, let's be fair. It's the special teams. I mean, Barb's special teams is doing them no favors right now. I mean, just 2 brutal mistakes on the punts that they've had so far, and that's led Acadiana to a great field position both times. Eddie Hernandez to kick. This one's a low one, but still going to take a bounce and be brought in the end zone. So it'll be 1st and 10 Barb at the 20. I mean, I'm expecting Barb. I mean, you got to open up this playbook, right? You've tried running the ball for the first 2 drives that you had. Acadiana's done a really good job of stopping the run. That one throw that they did swing out, they were able to get a first down. So I got to imagine if you want to stay competitive in this ball game, you might have to throw it a little bit more.
I agree with you, Cole, but, you know, you still have a young quarterback. He's only a sophomore. He did get kind of thrown into the fire last year, his freshman year. It's just his second year starting at the helm. But, man, when you got those young quarterbacks, if you're asking them to do a whole lot, they're going to be prone to make a mistake. And I would bet Barb really doesn't want to do that if they don't have to.
Handoff. No, he's going to keep it near side. This is Gray on the carry, the quarterback, able to turn the corner and get a couple of yards. Let's see where they spot him. Going to get a gain of, let's call it 7. So a good run right there by the quarterback. It's going to be 2nd and 3. Ball is at the 28.
Yeah, and I mean, he's an athlete. You could see he's got some speed. If he gets out on the outside, he could be dangerous. But, you know, nice job by Acadiana kind of limiting the gain and not letting him get everything that he wanted there. But still, an 8-yard gain on first down, that's the best starting play that the Buccaneers have had all night.
Again, while we have a little time, I want to thank everybody for tuning in to Wreckin' Ram Productions tonight on YouTube. This is the away broadcast, so excuse our camera work and be patient with us as we bring you another week of Wreckin' Ram football. 2nd and 3. 6:20 to go in the first quarter. Wreckin' Rams lead 14-0. Snap. Rolls out far side. Gray looking downfield. He's going to dump it off That's going to be complete. Brought down by Keldrick Francis. It's going to be a first down for the Barbe Buccaneers.
And Cole, there you go. Open up the playbook. That's exactly what Barb did. The nice rollout on the first down play from Gray, and then right there, a little toss play to get a nice first down. And Barb in their best field position of the night so far, and they have something working. So even though they're down 14-0, they've opened up the playbook. Maybe got a few of those kinks out in the first couple drives, and they got a little bit going. They're not going to roll over and fold on their home field, and you're seeing right there they have a little life.
Yeah, keep in mind, Nick, this is senior night, so they want to come out and do some good things in front of their home crowd. Here's another thing: Gray is a more athletic quarterback than we've also seen the last couple weeks.
That's right. You're right about that.
Receiver goes in motion. It's going to be quads to the near side. It's going to be a screen pass, but tipped at the line of scrimmage, so a heck of a job by the front line of the Terrible Turks to knock it down, and it's going to be 2nd and 10 ball at the 38-yard line.
Barb is feeling it a little bit right there. That's a big play to kind of not just in that play, but kind of take the momentum a little bit back, right? Barb was kind of feeling it, got a nice first down, got a nice couple of good plays, and the defense making that play, kind of stopping it, not allowing anything to happen, and kind of maybe retaking control of this drive.
I want to give a shout out while we have a second to Nick's mom, Miss J.D. Fodno, a die-hard viewer or listener, and I mean, we appreciate you. I didn't get to call you out the last couple of weeks, but I got to meet her for the first time this weekend. I was thrilled about that.
Yeah, her meeting you was the highlight of her week for sure.
Timeout down on the field. We're going to go ahead and take a quick timeout ourselves. Stick around for more Wreckin' Rant Productions here on YouTube.
Safety's right near these apex.
5:30 left to go in the first quarter. Acadiana with a 14-0 lead. 2nd and 10 for the Buccaneers, ball at the 38-yard line. Receiver goes in motion. It's going to be a handoff near side. Running back trying to turn the corner. He does. Ooh. Great hit right there by Dalen Lewis, and there's going to be a flag on the play. That is weak.
That's weak. That's weak.
That is a very weak, and you can possibly hear the coaches in the booth next to us there not happy about that call. That was a very weak call.
Yeah, that's one that I don't know how you make that call. I mean, the kid clearly lowered his shoulder. That's not targeting. He did not hit him in the head, not go helmet to helmet. That's weak. That is a weak call.
They're going to call that personal foul targeting against Dalen Lewis. Folks, this happened right in front of our face. I can tell you right now, and you can probably see it. That was a very clean football play right there. So, welcome to Lake Charles. We'll leave it at that. So, 1st and 10 for the Buccaneers. Ball is at the 41-yard line.
It's football. They're going to have hard hits. That's what they're doing out there. They're running full speed and making plays. I don't know what else Dalen could have done there. He lowered his shoulder, didn't go helmet to helmet. There's nothing else he could have done right there. I don't understand that call at all.
1st and 10, 5:22 left in the first quarter. Again, your Wreckin' Rams leading 14-0. Snap. Handoff. No, he's going to keep it himself far side. Turns the corner. Good run right there by Gray, and we see his athleticism on display on this drive. He gets a gain of 9. It's going to be 2nd and 1.
And listen, regardless of what we think about the penalty, it was still a 15-yard penalty, and now Barb's got a little bit of momentum, and that's the kind of stuff. That's the only way Acadiana loses a game the rest of the way this year is with penalties and turnovers. That's going to be the worst thing for this team, and you see it time and time again. If a team like Barb is going to pull off an upset of Acadiana, it's going to be because of penalties and turnovers, and that big 15-yard penalty kind of gave them life. They already had something working on this drive, got a couple of first downs, they were making some positive plays, and then to get gifted 15 yards, they're really feeling it right now.
Actually gave them a first down on that carry, so call it a gain of 10 and a first down. So 1st and 10 for the Bucks. Snap. 3-step drop looking far side. He throws it across the middle of the field, and Dalen Lewis is there to break it up.
There is a flag near side.
Flag on the play. Tyler Joseph, the intended receiver on the play for the Bucks.
Yeah, I mean, it's right at the line of scrimmage, so I would assume it would be some sort of illegal shift or formation or false start or something like that.
Illegal formation or a false start against the Barbe Buccaneers. That'll back them up 5. Let's call it 1st and 15. Respot this ball. This ball will be spotted at the 37-yard line.
Well, that play doesn't count, but what a great play by Dalen Lewis. We saw him kind of jump and make that play. Fantastic timing on that coverage. Got a nice hit on the player and broke up the pass. So, like we said, I mean, we're calling out everybody's name tonight. The defense is here to play, and each kid is kind of making their own stamp on this game. It's been pretty fun to watch so far.
3 receivers far side. Running back behind Gray. Far side receiver goes in motion. Snap. Fakes the handoff. Gray rolling near side. Still rolling. Looking. Pulls up. Throws it deep downfield. Triple coverage. And it is picked off.
Flag.
There's a flag on the play. But Gray threw that one in the triple coverage, and it was picked off by number 13, Tavian Landry, the junior defensive back. Let's see what the call is down on the field.
Looking at that. Coach, the back judge just threw a fucking flag.
I'm not sure how that specific referee could call what we think this call may be.
What do you think this call will be?
It looked like a pass
I'm
interference.
good with that. I'm good with either or, to be honest with you.
Holding on the defense.
Wow.
Hey, that's
Had nothing to do with the play.
Well, I'll tell you what. I mean, the kid threw in a triple coverage, and Acadiana did exactly what they needed to do. They swarmed the ball, didn't allow him to catch it, and got an interception. But nonetheless, the defensive holding call is going to give Barb the ball back.
We hear you may hear the coaches next to us heated over the call, and I kind of agree with them, Nick. It had nothing to do with the play first off, and then the quarterback throws in the triple coverage. It's just this. Let's call this drive what it is. It's been kept alive by penalties, and you just mentioned it. The only way that teams will stay in the game, at least for the rest of the regular season, for the foreseeable regular season, will be either turnovers or penalties.
Yeah, when you talk about a 15-yard personal foul, and then now this ball where Acadiana gets the takeaway and has to turn the ball back over to Barb. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that creates an upset possibility.
First and 1? Is that correct?
Looks like 1st and 1.
First and 1. Handoff. Turns the corner. That's going to be a first down, clearly, and another flag.
Yeah, that was a clear one. He kind of he's a little frustrated, and that's what it happens, right? It's mounting. Barb has all of the momentum, and all the referees are against them, and you can kind of feel it mounting, that frustration on the field, and that's exactly what happened. Kind of drug him late there. So that is one that I agree with, but the 2 previous were a little bit soft. And again, I don't really know what they saw on the holding call. It looked like the 2 kids were. Tied their feet in, so it didn't really affect the play. But nonetheless, Barb is feeling it right now. They have something working. This is the best stuff that they've had going. Now they're inside the red zone. And again, if Barb has a chance to win this game, it's going to come with stuff like that, with a drive like this where it's sloppy on the Acadiana side, and some things are out of their hands, and it's just going Barb's way.
4:25 left to go in your first quarter. First and goal, Bucks. Acadiana leading 14-0. Keep in mind, folks, Acadiana's Terrible Turks have held their opponents out the end zone for the last 3 weeks. Handoff up the middle. Nothing. Darius McKinley brings him down at the line of scrimmage. Gonna lose, let's see. Gonna lose at least 3 or 4. Still gonna be second and goal. Ball's gonna be at the 7.
Individual efforts tonight have been fantastic. There have been about 5 or 6 individual plays from individual players that are really keeping the defense stout right there. And Darius McKinley kind of gets his name called for the first time. And that's been fun. I mean, normally the defense kind of swarms a player, but when you get those individual efforts, and that particular play from McKinley, we've seen him make that multiple times this year. He's really having a nice season.
2 receivers near side, 1 far side. Snap. Handoff. No, Gray's going to keep it, and he gets brought down. That's Darius McKinley again coming up big in the red zone.
Yeah, he's really putting his stamp right here. This is where he stepped up. And I was talking to the Barb radio team before the game, and they said in that Barb game 2 years ago on this field, Dominic McKinley kind of did exactly what we see Darius doing. Whenever they got in close into the red zone, Dominic kind of took over and kind of stopped it from happening. And Darius is kind of following in his brother's footsteps. He's really kind of taking control of this drive right here and made two really nice plays on back-to-back snaps.
3rd and goal, ball at the 14. Nick, is this 4-down territory for the Bucs?
It's got to be. It's 5 downs if they'll give it to them. They cannot do anything but try to score a touchdown here.
Stoppage of play down on the field. Barb's going to go ahead and take a timeout. So with 3 minutes left to go in the first quarter, we'll take a timeout as well. Your Wreckin' Rams leading 14-0. Stick around. You're watching Wreckin' Ram Productions. Welcome back, folks. Let's reset. 3rd and goal for the Buccaneers. Ball at the 14. Slot receiver goes in motion. Swings it out to the slot receiver. He throws it far side. It's caught, but he's going to be brought down at about the 6-yard line. So it'll be 4th and goal for the Bucs. And they have an injured player. Barb's going to have an injured player down on the field.
It looks like JL Mabru kind of went for the hit to kind of break it up, but I feel like he had time to look up and knock the ball away. He was there. He read the play. He got there in time, but he didn't look up. He had already made his decision that the ball was going to get there first, but he actually had like an extra half second. If he looks up at the ball, he could probably bat it away, but nonetheless, this brings up 4 down and Cole. I don't see how they do anything else but go for it here.
I agree with that, Nick. And just to go back to JL, I think and keep in mind, JL Mabru's a new starter on this defense. I think if he had a little bit more seasoned experience, kind of like a Dalen, he would have been able to find that ball and possibly.
I agree. I was thinking if that had been Dalen, he'd have found the ball for sure.
So 4th and goal, ball at the 6-yard line. 2:05 left to go in the first quarter. Acadiana leading 14-0. Let's see if this terrible Dirk defense can stand strong. Snap, rolls out, looking, throws it. Can he make the tackle? Dalen Lewis.
Wow.
Dalen Lewis able to make the stop, and your veer machine's going to get the ball back. So another bend, don't break situation. Barb able to make the completion on like a little rollout, but Dalen Lewis keeping his containment, and Acadiana gets the ball back.
Cole, if you're Barb right now, you have to just be absolutely deflated. I mean, that's the best drive that you've had all night long. Any kind of positive momentum that you've had all night long. You got to the 3-yard line and couldn't punch it in. What a play by Dalen Lewis. That was a drive of individual efforts. We saw Keeman make a great individual effort. Darius had 2 great plays in that drive, and then Dalen at the end to kind of snuff it out. And again, bend, don't break. That's what this Wreckin' Ram defense did right there. We haven't seen them have any adversity so far in the last couple of games.
Handoff, that's to Taden. Able to break the first tackle, not able to break the second. It looks like it'll be no gain. It'll be 2nd and 10. Ball is at the 3-yard line.
Cole, you think this defense knows that they haven't allowed a touchdown in the last 3 games? You think the coaches are telling them that and they're kind of building on that and really wanting to keep that alive?
I do. I think, these are young kids, Nick. Let's not forget this. And, we're living in an era of stats and, big-time figures and whatnot. So I'm very certain that these kids know what they have. But you can play off of that. You get momentum off of that. In the back of your mind, you don't want to give up points. And once again, a great job by the terrible Turks not to do so. 2nd and 10. Snap. Handoff again. That's Taden Collins. There he goes. Across the 10. Breaks a tackle. And he got shoestringed. But it's going to be a gain of about 15. And that's a veer machine. First down.
One broken tackle away from being gone. He had nothing but clear grass in front of him, 2 blockers to get him on his way, kind of lead that caravan, but nonetheless, a nice play from Collins. That's what you need to kind of get out of that back of the end zone, get some breathing room. Now you can kind of operate your offense the way you want to, but a nice little play from Tatum there.
1st and 10 Rams, ball at the 18. 45 seconds left to go in your first quarter. Snap. Swing pass. That's the Colin DeBetta. Gets past the 25. Not able to break that tackle, though, but it does look like he'll be at the stick. They're going to call it a gain of 12, and that's another Veer Machine first down.
This is really the first game that I'm noticing the difference in the speed of Acadiana. I mean, the kids are just a little bit faster than the opponent. I think the last 2 weeks against New Iberia and Sulphur, it was more about overpowering the opponents. In this game, we're just a little bit faster than the opponents, and that's why you turn with maybe a 5-yard gain into a first down.
1st and 10 Rams. Handoff. Logan Charles across the 40, across the 45, and he'll be pushed out at about the, let's call it the 47-yard line. So a great run by Logan Charles and another Veer Machine first down.
And you're talking about individual efforts. You're talking about Tatum Collins on that play to get him to 15 yards, and then Colin kind of making a play and bursting for speed for a first down, and there Logan Charles takes the ball across midfield. Like you're relying on different players to make plays, and it lends you to not have to rely on just one player or focus your offense and defense around one player. All of these kids are making individual efforts that's making the team a whole. And I mean, you just have so many different kids you can count on at different times in the game to really be the player that you need to carry what's going on.
Well, that's going to be the end of your first quarter, but what a first quarter it was. And I'm going to say this, Nick, the play of the game so far is your special teams.
That's right.
Acadiana leading this one 14-0. Stick around for more Wreckin' Ram Productions here on YouTube. Welcome back to the start of the second quarter. 1st and 10 Rams. Ball of the 47. Swing pass. In and out of the hands of Russell Babineau. They're going to call that one incomplete. Just thrown a little too high on that one. Russell not able to bring it in. No harm, no foul, though. 2nd and 10 for the Rams.
But I like the play call. I like the idea. Try to get Russell out in space. I think if Caden makes the play, it'd have been a nice gain. But you're going to try to open up the offense a little bit and do some plays like that. But, I mean, I like the play call. Just the execution wasn't there.
Again, fans, we want to thank you for tuning in tonight on Wreckin' Ram Productions. Bear with us as I am doing the play-by-play and the camera work tonight. So we appreciate your patience as always. 2nd and 10, ball of the 47. Handoff, Logan Charles. Trying to turn the corner on the far side. Breaks one tackle, not able to break another. He'll get a gain of, let's call it 2. It's going to be 3rd and 8, ball at the 45.
And Cole, I don't want to say too much, but is Jonah in there? I haven't really seen his number called in the last series. I'm not seeing him there. It's been Tatum, it's been Logan Charles, and normally when we see Logan Charles kind of getting that heavy workload, that's when Jonah's been out. So I think he might have re-aggravated that injury on the last drive.
We'll keep you updated on that, folks. 3rd and 8. Fakes the handoff. DeBetta rolling near side. Still rolling. Throws it downfield. He's got his brother. Colin DeBetta. Across the 15. Across the field. Colin DeBetta in the end zone.
Wow, what a great individual effort from Colin. He had really 3 defenders that he had to beat to the end zone, and he made a move. And you can even hear the coaches on the side of it say, just make a move. And he made the move and got in the end zone. A sidearm throw from Caden. He was kind of on his back foot, fading back, give a sidearm throw to Colin, and that's the second DeBetta connection tonight to put the Rams up 20-0.
I was going to give Britt Lachelet some love right there. As Britt Lachelet would say, DeBetta to DeBetta, big bro to little bro. 11-10 in the second quarter. Your Wreckin' Rams take a 20-0 lead pending the point after. Ty Lambertina to hold. Eddie Hernandez to kick. Kick is up. Kick is good. 21-0, your Wreckin' Rams lead. Let's take a quick timeout, but stick around for more Wreckin' Ram Productions here on YouTube. Welcome back to Barb. Acadiana leading 21-0 with 11:10 left to go in the first half. Eddie Hernandez back to kick. This one's high, this one's deep, this one is in the end zone, and we've seen it time and time again this year. Eddie Hernandez with the big leg. There's a flag on the far side of the field, Nick, at the 30-yard line, and this is well after the play. I think this might be a personal foul.
On which side, Cole?
I believe it's on Barb.
There is a flag on the play.
Well, that's definitely not what they needed because they didn't really have much going. The only thing they really had working for them was penalties in their favor. And I'll give them a little credit. They had a couple of plays that worked nice on that last drive, but a personal foul would really set them back.
Personal foul against Barb. Half the distance, I believe, and maybe 1st and 10 at the 10. I think that's what we're going to see here. And that's exactly what we'll see here. 1st and 10 at the 10-yard line, and the Terrible Turks get to kind of pin their ears back right here and go to work. I would love to see them force a turnover right here, Nick, and really put this game away really early.
That's exactly what that would do. If they were able to get the ball back here inside the red zone, it would put the game away.
2 receivers far side, 1 on the near side, 2 running backs. Handoff up the middle. Met behind the line of scrimmage. That's number 5, Gavin Coleman on the tackle. And they're going to lose about 3 or 4 right there. So right away, that Terrible Turk defensive line able to cause chaos.
We should have a list of all the kids and just check off their names when we call them because there's so much individual effort going on tonight by different players. You know, normally you can count on maybe 1 or 2, maybe 3 guys to give you a nice individual effort, but there's so many guys who are just busting out and making plays on this defense right now. We should just make sure we get everybody's name in because at some point they're all going to make a play.
To me, Nick, what I've seen so far is, in my mind, if you could find a way to contain Gray from rolling out, I mean, you've got a pretty good read on this offense so far.
And I think that was kind of what we all thought even before the game. And you know, if we're talking about that, you know, the coaches down there are talking about that. They've watched the film. They've seen what this kid has. And we played him. Obviously, we played him last year at Acadiana. And talking to the Barb radio guys before the game, they kind of said that, you know, that was his first game starting last year at Bill Dotson Stadium, and he had some success, a little bit of success before that, but his first game starting, and Acadiana really made him feel like a freshman. He kind of brought him back to earth, and so now he's a sophomore with a little bit more experience, but you know, we saw what Caden, the kind of quarterback that Caden DeBetta was as a sophomore, where he wasn't quite as seasoned and quite as crisp and didn't really have as much of a command of the offense as he does now. And I think that's just what you have with a younger quarterback. You kind of take those bumps and bruises, and I'm sure when we come back here in 2 years, that kid is going to be a lot better and a lot smoother, and we're going to see a lot different Barb offense. But right now, you're just going to have those bumps and bruises. And nonetheless, you're right. He is their entire offense. He is their playmaker, and I think that the Rams have done a good job of containing him.
So let's reset here. It's going to be 2nd and 15, ball at the 5-yard line. 2 receivers near side. 1 receiver goes in motion to the far side. Going to swing it out to the far side. Throw is low. It's going to take a bounce. Looking for his receiver right there. I believe that was number 87, Aaron Bellord. not able to hook up with him. It's going to be 3rd and 15, ball at the 5, and now's your chance, Nick. Don't allow a big play, obviously, to get off the field, but now's your chance to really make a play. Like I said, I would love to see Acadiana pin its ears back and go get the quarterback. Do you expect them to put the ball in the air here, or just kind of concede, run the ball, and maybe punt?
I think it would be smart for them to concede, but I mean, at this point, you're down 3 scores. I mean, you got to try to make something happen, but it looks like he's in the shotgun. It doesn't really mean they're not going to concede, but I would probably just try to give him the ball.
Snap handoff. He's gonna keep it himself near side. He'll be pushed out at about the 13-yard line. Going to be well short of the first down. It's going to be 4th and 7, and Barb's going to punt.
And you see Gray getting frustrated. He ran off from the sideline, kind of dropped his arms, just very upset because nothing's really working for him right now, and you're giving the ball back to Acadiana. And like I've been saying all game, so far the last 3 weeks, if you give the ball to Acadiana wherever, anywhere on the field, they're going to march down and score some points. And I think Gray kind of knows that. Hey, you're giving the ball to Wreckin Rams. We're down 21-0. It ain't going to be long before we're down 28.
Let's see if the special teams can make another play. Russell Babineau back deep to receive. This one's high, not very deep. It will bounce just past the 40. It takes a big Barb bounce. Russell's going to no. Russell Babineau not able to pick up the football, and Barb jumps on it at the, let's call it the 31-yard line, and Barb's going to have second life. That's the special teams, has been so good early in this ball game, but there you go. You give one right back to Barb. Can't happen.
That is a mental mistake that Russell probably never makes again. But boy, that's going to cost you right there. You have all the momentum. You're going to get the ball in great field position and give it right back to Barb. And now, as frustrated as Barb was on that last drive, they couldn't get anything going. They have some momentum right now. They're across the 50, and they have the ball with a chance to do something here. So that's the only way this happens, right? That's the only way Barb has a chance in this game. It's the only way pretty much any team on the schedule from here on out has a chance, is by turnovers and penalties. And on the drive where Barb got into the red zone, that's what it was. It was penalties, and here's a turnover where you give them a new life. So if you can avoid that stuff, you're going to be set. But here Barb is right across the 50 and the 40-yard line.
So let's reset. 1st and 10 for the Bucs after the muff punt. Ball at the 36-yard line plus territory. 2 receivers to each side and a running back on the side of Gray. Snap. 3-step drop looking far side. Rolls far side. Pulls up, still looking far side. He throws it to the sideline, out of bounds. And that was probably a smart decision because he had big Darius McKinley coming after him.
One of the coaches on the sideline, you see him kind of jump up and try to catch that ball. I don't know who that was, but he had some hops. He almost got it. The ball was sailing almost to the track, and he kind of got it and stopped there. But yeah, great play from the defense to kind of pursue the quarterback, not let him get comfortable and force a bad throw.
That's what I'm kind of thinking, Nick. Like I said earlier, keep him in the pocket, make him use his arm instead of his legs, because we've already seen him create plays with his legs tonight. So I would like to see the Terrible Turks continue to make him a passer. 2 receivers near side, 1 far side. Flag on the far side. Gray looks visibly upset.
Yeah, I mean, I saw him come over to the sideline, and he looked upset. He looks upset now, and it's almost like if you can't get him back to like an even balance and get him in control of this offense, Barb just really has no chance. He is their entire team. They're all looking to him for leadership, and he's frustrated. Understandably so, right? You're down 21-0 in the second quarter, and not a whole lot's going your way, and it's fine to be frustrated, but that's what comes with a young quarterback, lack of experience. He's going to get frustrated very easily. You got to understand, he's probably 15 years old, right? He doesn't have a whole lot of even life experience behind him, much less football experience, and that's just kind of the bumps and bruises you're going to take with such a young quarterback.
Rolls near side, throws downfield, well short of his intended receiver. Going to be 3rd and 15. And I mean, once again, Terrible Turks able to hold him to a 3rd and long here, Nick.
And great, look at his body language, right? His shoulders are sunk. He's just feeling all the pressure of this game right now. And now we've seen so far 2 throws where he had a receiver open and he just misses them low and makes a bad throw. And it's affecting his gameplay. It's affecting his mentality on the field, his body language, and everything. Just nothing really going the Buccaneers' way.
3rd and 15. Ball at the 41. Snap. Three-step drop, looking. It's a screenplay. In and out of the hands of the running back. And it's going to be 4th down. 9:40 left to play in the first half. Acadiana holds a 21-0 lead, and here comes the punting unit for the Buccaneers.
A nice blitz there from Acadiana, and they got there. I mean, they were coming, and they had Gray on his back foot. He was just backpedaling and had nothing else to do but get rid of it, and the receiver dropped it. And I don't think he would have had enough for the first down, even if they completed it. And, honestly, kind of surprised they're punting here. I mean, it's a situation where you're across midfield. You haven't had a whole lot going. I mean, you got to kind of try to give yourself a chance. And like we said, once you punt the ball, you're kind of giving them points.
Colin DeBetta back to receive. Jace Vasquez doesn't put anything on this kick, and it actually takes a huge Wreckin' Ram bounce, and that's going to be a net punt of about 6 yards.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, when you're in high school, more often than not, you don't have a punter that can really flip the field at all. And you got the ball at the 45-yard line, and you're punting, and now you're giving Acadiana the ball 6 yards back from where they would have got it if you just went for it and failed. So when you have this kind of field position against Acadiana, it just, to me, it just doesn't make sense to ever punt. Because when you punt, you're either going to not give them great field position and Acadiana's going to get the ball, or a mistake's going to happen and they're going to get the ball in even better field position than you were. You might as well go for it, because Acadiana getting the ball right now, it equals points. And so you want to keep the ball on your side as much as possible. And right now, that's what happens with a poor punt and giving Acadiana great field position.
Three-step drop, throws it to the big tight end, Jaden Bassard. That's going to be a first down catch and a veer machine first down. Let's call it a gain of 14.
I like what we've seen from the Wreckin' Rams offense in the last 3 weeks when they get this kind of this lead, this cushion where they feel comfortable and they're opening up the playbook, and Caden's really got a command of what he needs to do, making the right reads and making the right throws. And we've seen him do we saw him do a bunch of plays that we haven't really seen before in the Sulphur game, and here we're seeing some nice things, some nice standard plays that Acadiana is going to use later in the season.
Handoffs to Logan Charles, far side. Fighting some tacklers. He'll get a gain of, let's call it 3. It's going to be 2nd and 7. But going back to the last play, I mean, listen, Nick, I played in the era where when you threw the ball, you threw it to the tight end. You threw it to Striker Tronhall. You threw it to Alex Morvant. Flag on the play. Let's see what the call is.
It looks like it's going to be a personal foul against the Rams. A little frustration going on down there. Unnecessary.
Personal foul is going to be against the Rams. Unfortunate right there. We've talked about it all first half so far. The only way that you're going to kill yourself is with penalties and turnovers, and unfortunately we've seen that a little too much in this quarter.
But you were talking about the tight ends and the way the offense kind of ran through the tight ends. You remember a few years after you graduated, Brett Keith and Mouton was there, and he went to LSU, and he had a nice career there. So it's been mostly a tight end driven passing game. That's kind of what you did, because it was run, and then open it up. But then when you opened it up, it was just a quick pass to the tight end. But I like the way they've been using Bassard the last couple of weeks, getting him some touches and kind of getting him familiar with that role.
2nd and a mile. It's a reverse. Breaks a tackle. He's across the 35, across the 40, trying to break another. He'll be brought down. Let's see. It's going to be a gain of, let's call it 6, maybe even 7. It's going to be 3rd and long, man, maybe 3rd and 20. I'm curious to see what Acadiana is going to choose to go with here. Some trickery. Let's see when Matt decides to dial up.
Yeah, but you feel good about having a senior quarterback. I mean, that's the difference. Your entire playbook is at your disposal right now, and you trust Caden with the ball in his hands. If he's not going to make the play, you at least know he's more than likely not going to make a mistake, and so they're going to take a timeout and talk it over. But if they put the ball in Caden's hands, I feel good about it. That's what having a senior quarterback is all about. You say, hey, look, we need a 20-yard play. We're going to dial it up. Can you get it done? If you got Caden DeBetta back there, you feel good about your chances.
I mean, so you're expecting some kind of rollout with him? Because we talk about it all the time. I prefer him on the run. I think he makes great throws on the run. Your playbook's at your disposal.
Yes.
You're right. I mean, if we know Matt, typically he likes to go for it on 4th down. So is this going to be a situation where you're trying to get about half of it? That way you get a 4th and manageable, something to that effect?
It's possible that they do that. And to your point, though, about Caden rolling out, I agree. I like him on the run. And I feel like so far this year, when he is on the run and when he does do the rollout, he just makes the right read. He either throws the ball when he needs to throw it, or he tucks and runs when he needs to tuck it. He's not making mistakes. He's not putting the ball in danger and giving the other team an opportunity to pick it off. And so, yeah, you kind of you call up the play and let him make that decision. And that just comes with his comfort in the offense. And that's what we heard in the whole offseason about him having just a full understanding of the offense and the playbook and what his role is and what he needs to do. And so right here, if you're gonna go back and put it in his hands, you feel good about it.
3rd and 18 for the Rams, ball at the 43. Let's see what Matt McCullough dials up here. 5-step drop, looks downfield. Caden rolls out. He's going to pull up and run it. He's across the 50 trying to break a tackle, but he won't be able to do so. Gets about half of it, so Acadiana's going to be faced with about a 4th and 11. Let's see if they choose to punt here or if they choose to go for it.
And again, you looked up the field. You saw he might have had a little window where he could have thrown the ball, possibly had some success, and possibly got the completion. But he made the right decision and tucked and run. He didn't put the ball in danger. And really, if that's what you're going to do, you'll take it every time. Don't try to force it. Even though I think he might have had that window where he could have had that completion.
So Nick, I need to say this. We haven't talked about it at all. For the first time since STM, you're starting beer machine offense not able to come out of a drive with points.
Yeah, remember in the STM game, Tyler Martina was not there, so we had a backup punter that took care of the punting duty. So this is Ty's first punt since Ruston. And
it's a good one, a very good one. Going to be brought in at the 10, across the 15, across the 20, and he'll be brought down at about the 23-yard line. Flag on the play.
I'm sorry, that was not Ty. That was Eddie Hernandez that took care of the punting duties right there. Number 13.
Eddie Hernandez, punter and kicker. All right. Well, again, there is a flag down on the field, so let's see what the call is. I'll tell you what, Nick. We know we can kick the ball forward, but that was a great punt.
Yeah. And I think, that's why he's getting those Division I looks. He just has the leg to get the ball far in the kicking game and the punting game.
Personal foul is going to be against the Bucks, so that'll back him up. And, you want to talk about shooting yourself in the foot before drive starts. This is the second time it's happened.
Yeah, and that's something that they can't do. But listen, we talked about Acadiana getting the ball and putting up points, and that's the first time they haven't done it in 3 games. You mentioned that earlier, but Barb can't continue to bite themselves in the butt right here with these penalties that kind of back them up even before the drive start. Any kind of momentum that they get from stopping Acadiana goes away right away before they even run a play with a penalty.
7:24 left to go in the first half. Acadiana leading 21-0. Snap. Handoff up the middle. Nothing. Stopped at the line of scrimmage. They may give them 1 yard. It'll be 2nd and 9, but another example of that defensive line just showing up on run plays.
The interior defensive line for the Wreckin Rams is just not giving anything inside. No team has had success. Even in the game against Ruston, no success in the middle. Everything that Ruston got was done on the outsides, and they're just not giving up running plays. And when you take that aspect of the game away from teams and force them to go outside, that's where the mistakes happen. And as long as you can contain those outsides, you'll be all right.
2nd and 9. Handoff, stretch play. He does turn the corner. He's around the 20, 25. He'll be pushed out at the 30. So a strong run right there will be a gain of about 20 and a Barbe Buccaneer first down.
Yeah, the running back made a move there and kind of got some big yards. Nice play from Dalen Lewis to kind of make that tackle. We've seen some missed tackles so far this season from Acadiana, but Dalen kind of goes low and takes the running back down to prevent an even bigger play than what he got.
6:25 left to go in your first half. Acadiana leading 21-0. 1st and 10 Barb, ball at the 30-yard line. 2 receivers to the far side, 1 receiver near side, and a wing out to the right. 4 receiver goes in motion, snap, rolling out, far side, looking downfield. He throws it downfield. He's got a man in and out of his hands, incomplete. I thought it was a pretty good throw right there by Gray, the receiver not able to bring it in. I wanted to make him a passer. We've seen that, it's been effective for the Terrible Turks to make him one. Don't let him beat you with his feet, and that was another example of it right there.
You have to be perfect on every single play to have any kind of success against this defense. Unless you're aided with a penalty or aided with some kind of mistake, every play has to be perfect. You have to run it very crisp, and when you have a young quarterback, you're kind of lending yourself to that not happening.
2nd and 10, ball at the 30. 3 receivers near side and a wing out to the right. 7 seconds on the play clock. Snap. Going to swing it out near side, in and out of the hands of the intended receiver. So, again, just not able to hook up with his receivers. It's going to be 3rd and 10, another 3rd and long for the Terrible Turks.
I mean, they had the play there. The play was there. He's going to get, if he catches the ball, he's going to get 6 to 7 yards. The throw was way ahead of him. Not the best throw there, but if you have a play, they're calling the right plays. They just have to execute. And we've seen that, especially a lot last season, but we've seen it this year where the other team has the right play call and they just can't execute.
3rd and 10. Let's see if the Terrible Turks can hang tough here. Snap. Fakes the handoff, rolls far side. Still looking. He's going to take off with it. He'll be pushed out about 5 yards short. Fans on the near side calling for a late hit, but nothing doing. It's going to be 4th and about 5, and Barb's going to punt once again.
Well, I think everybody was holding their breath looking for a flag, thinking they might have thrown a flag. You can hear a pin drop where the coaches are to the right. I think they were thinking they might have had a flag too, but they didn't get one. Nice stop for the Wreckin Rams to kind of force a punt here. And again, like I said, the Barb offense is going to have to execute every play to perfection. Otherwise, they're not going to be able to get anything going, and that's exactly what you saw there.
Russell Babineau back deep to receive. He's going to get another chance here. I would love to see him make up for earlier. Good snap. Kick is low. Bounces at the 45. Flag on the play. I believe this is going to be roughing the kicker.
I think it is, too. They ran right into him. They had 4 or 5 Wreckin Rams around the ball trying to punt it, and they kind of ran into the punt.
Acadiana saying that ball was tipped. They're making their case for it. Amarian Cooper is pretty much on the backside of the ref saying that ball was tipped, and let's see what they decide to call here. They may have a case. Nope, personal foul.
Yeah, I can't imagine that it wasn't tipped. I mean, they had, what was it? It was 4 Wreckin Rams around the ball. You would think one of them got a touch on it, but nonetheless, they're going to get hit with a personal foul.
Personal fouls in high school football don't necessarily mean a first down, but in this case it will because it was 4th and 5, and that'll move the sticks. So just another penalty that kills an offensive opportunity for the Veer machine. So Terrible Turks are going to have to stay on the field just a little bit longer. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Bucks.
Not a pre-snap penalty, an effort penalty, but nonetheless, it's penalties, man. It's penalties and turnovers that's the only thing happening for Barb tonight. It's the only reason why they're able to get any momentum, and it's simply got to get cleaned up, Cole. It's all there is to it.
1st and 10, ball at the 50. 2 receivers near side, 1 far side. Snap. Ball's on the ground. And Gray is going to just pretty much kneel on it. He'll lose, let's call it 6. So it's going to be 2nd and 16, ball at the 44.
I don't think he intended to kneel on it, but when he went to pick it up, his knee kind of hit the ground, and that killed the play. In high school, you don't have to be touched. It's automatically dead. So, a 6-yard loss right there, unfortunate. And again, if you're not executing to perfection, if you're making these mistakes, Acadiana is going to make you pay for it. Just like that, they're already back 6 yards from where they started. Everything has to be super crisp for teams to have success against this defense.
3 receivers near side, 1 far side, running back behind Gray. 3-step drop, looking. He's going to be brought down. Amarian Cooper with the sack, and it's a loss of 6 and another 3rd and long for the Terrible Turks.
Individual efforts tonight have been fantastic. I thought Gray had it. I thought he had the lane. I thought he was about to bust it for a 6 or 7 yard gain, and then Cooper comes up and makes a great play to stop him. So that's just what it's been. It's been different guys really stepping up on each play and putting their stamp on the game. It's been an experience so far with calling each of these guys' names when they're trying to make these big plays.
3rd and 21. Don't give up anything big here. 2 receivers near side. Far side receiver goes in motion. Handoff up the middle. He's across the 40, across the 45. And he'll be brought down well short of the first down marker. It's going to be 4th and about, let's call it 13. And I imagine Barb's going to elect to punt here.
Yeah, I would say the reason why he was able to have so much success on that run and kind of gain a bunch of yards, I think he gained about 10, 11 yards on that play, was because the Rams were playing to not give up the first down. They were playing a little deep and kind of giving up that intermediate range where you knew if they ran the ball and even if they picked up 10 yards, which is what they did, they weren't going to get the first down. And I think that's the only reason why they had success on that play.
3:30 left to go in the first half. Acadiana leading 21-0. This is going to be a false start, Nick. The up man that was right in front of the punter took off a little early, so this will back him up 5.
You know, the Wreckin' Rams should get the ball back, barring another mental mistake in the backfield. But I want to see him put a touchdown on the board. I mean, it's been 21-0 for a while in this game, and we were talking about how it was getting out of hand and all that stuff. But it's gotten kind of stagnant at this point. They haven't done much. They had one drive where they stalled and couldn't get anything going. So I'd like to see the Rams get the ball and march it down the field here.
Colin DeBetta back to receive. Snap is a good one. Kick is away. It's a short one. It's high and short. Ball's going to bounce at about the 35-yard line and kick out of bounds at the 35, and that's where the Rams will start at 1st and 10.
Pretty good field position here for the Rams. Shouldn't be too much trouble. You got 3:05 to play. It should be plenty of time for you to be able to get the ball into the end zone. And really, I don't think they called a timeout yet. I think they if they did, they only called one, so they have 2, maybe 3 timeouts. So plenty of time to get down the field. We know that they can get it down there in one play, but even if they try to sustain a drive and maybe get a couple of plays in here, they should have enough to get it in there. And don't forget, they will get the ball in the second half.
Great point, Nick. Yes, Acadiana does have 2 timeouts here with 3:05 left to go in the first half. So let's see this veer machine go to work here. 1 receiver to each side. Classic veer machine. Handoff up the middle. That's Goche. A Goche sighting. That's going to be a gain of 3 for the Pitbull, 2nd and 7.
That's good to see. That's good to see him in there because I was starting to get concerned because we didn't see him in that last series, in that last couple drives, and I thought maybe he might have rehampered that foot injury. He did come up kind of hobbling earlier in the first half, but it's nice to see him in there and getting the drive, and hopefully nothing wrong with that foot.
2:37 left to go in the half. 2nd and 7. Option 4 side. Pitches. That's to Tayton Collins trying to turn the corner. He gets a great block across the 40. Enough for the first down. He'll be pushed out of bounds, and that's a veer machine first down.
Great pickup from Collins.
And flags after the play all over the place.
A flag. And it looks like it's going to be against Acadiana. I mean, the way Barb is reacting, Acadiana got frustrated there. I don't know who it was. I didn't see the play, but by the way Barb has reacted, it's probably going to be against the Rams, and Acadiana's already backing themselves up. So
we haven't seen this the last couple of weeks, Nick. I mean, especially when it comes to personal fouls and after, extracurriculars after the play. We've seen pre-snap stuff, but definitely not this. And if it indeed is against Acadiana, we got to find a way to shut this down and just play football.
I mean, you're lucky you're up by 3 scores. Otherwise, this would be more of a game. I mean, yeah, it's the 15-yard penalties are killing them. It's the reason why Barb had any success on that drive. And see what the call is here.
Personal foul will be against Barb. Oh, it might be offsetting. It will be offsetting.
But nonetheless, I mean, the point remains. It has to get cleaned up. You can't continue to do this because it will cost you. I mean, what if you're doing this against in a competitive game? I mean, you're manhandling this team. There's no reason to be frustrated. There's no reason to get that penalty. If Barb wants to get frustrated, let them give you the 15, but don't give it back to him. And I mean, this game is it's well in hand if you don't make these mistakes, and that's the only way that Barb gets back into it. And it seems like they're trying to make this game more competitive than it needs to be.
1st and 10, ball at the 45. Snap. Handoff to Goche, looking for a lane. He's not going to find one. He'll get a gain of maybe 1 or 2. He was able to squirt, a little gain late. So let's call it 2nd and 8 and another Goche sighting. So glad to see that that toe injury has not been hampering him, or it is hampering him, but it's not keeping him out of the ballgame.
We see Jonah coming off on the sideline there, but I want to see that explosiveness from Jonah. That's what we haven't seen so far, where he busts through that line and, like you say, kind of get him out of a shoot there. We haven't been able to see that. I want to see that so I can feel good about where he's at.
5-step drop. Caden DeBetta rolls far side, looking downfield. He's going to pull up and run. Hit out of bounds, but no flags. We'll call it a gain of 4. It'll be about 3rd and 5 for the Rams.
The game is very chippy right now. Lots of extracurricular activity going on with the kids, and it just seems like the emotions are high in this game for whatever reason. I think that the Wreckin' Rams came in here with a little bit of chip on their shoulder, despite how dominant it's been. But they know what this entails, playing on this field in this city against these referees.
1:33 left to go in the half. Acadiana leading 21-0. 2 timeouts left as well. DeBetta looks to the sideline for a play. 10 seconds on the play clock. Gets back under center. Snap. Handoff up the middle. That's Parker Bruno. Parker Bruno able to break a tackle and get a veer machine first down, and that'll stop the clock momentarily.
Yeah, that's a tough nose run from Bruno to get that first down and move the chains and keep this drive moving. And look, a minute 27 to go in this game. You're moving the ball, great field position. They got to kind of get it rolling right here because if they want to get in the end zone, they got to get some big chunks.
Yeah, 1st and 10, ball at the 44, and the clock is running. 1:15 left to go in the half. Snap. 5-step drop, looks downfield, still looking. Rolls out near side, still looking. He's going to have to just dump this one away, and a great job by the senior quarterback to live to fight another day right there. It'll be 2nd and 10.
Pocket presence immaculate. He knew exactly where all the defenders were. One of them actually got a hand on him, and he kind of shrugged him off and just made a nice play, smart play. Has he put the ball in danger at all this year? I mean, he is just taking care of the football, making the right play, making the right read, stuff that we saw him not really have that much of command, or that he wasn't that comfortable before this year, but he just seems to be a completely different ball player this year.
1:04 left to go in the half. 2nd and 10, ball at the 44. Keep in mind, field position for a field goal is in play in this, Nick. Screen pass. Russell Babineau breaks a play, jukes a defender across the 40, across the 30, and he'll be pushed out at about the 28-yard line. So a great job by the Raging Cajun, and that's another Wreckin' Ram first down.
The young man for Barb is frustrated that he missed that play, but I saw it right there. When Babineau got the ball, he was one-on-one. If that kid would have made the tackle, I would have been very surprised. Babineau just made one quick move and kind of juked him out of his shoes and turned a short gain into about a 25 to 30-yard gain and got it in a great field position here. And you're right. If they can't get in the end zone for whatever reason, Eddie Hernandez field goal range was pretty close.
56 seconds left in the half. Snap. 3-step drop. Looking. Still looking. All day to throw. He throws it to the end zone. He's got his little brother, and that's a touchdown.
My goodness.
DeBetta to DeBetta for the 2nd time tonight. And before the half ends, your Wreckin' Rams take a commanding 4-score lead. And like Nick said earlier, we're going to be able to play a little make it, take it, barring anything major that Barb could come up with. What a great throw right there by Caden DeBetta.
Well, Cole, I don't want to correct you, but that's the 3rd time tonight that they've hooked up
for
that touchdown. So that's 3 DeBetta to DeBetta hookups tonight. They're feeling it. I mean, they have the chemistry now. They've been playing together for so long. They know what's going on. That could be one of the best throws I've seen him make since he's been at Acadiana. That was a phenomenal pass from Caden DeBetta.
Snap is good. Kick is up. Kick is good. 48 seconds left to go in your first half. Acadiana leads 28-0. Stick around. We'll bring you the remainder of this first half here on Wreckin' Ram Productions. Welcome back to Barb, where your Wreckin' Rams hold a commanding 28-0 lead with 45 seconds to go before halftime. Eddie Hernandez back to kick. High, deep, and just as we've seen time and time again tonight, not returnable. So 1st and 10 for the Buccaneers, ball at the 20 with about 45 seconds left, and I expect them to just pretty much run this clock out.
All 3 touchdown passes from Caden DeBetta to Colin DeBetta were amazing throws from Caden. One of them where he threaded the needle after some great coverage where Colin kind of got open. The second one on a little sidearm throw where he just hit Colin, and Colin made a couple moves and went to the end zone. And that throw right there, Cole, I'm prepared to say that was the best throw I've seen Caden DeBetta make. That was just a fantastic throw. Colin kind of double covered, kind of gets open, and the throw was there for the touchdown. So 3 connections for the brothers tonight.
3 receivers near side, 1 far side. Snap, 5-step drop, looking. Throws it across the middle of the field. It's complete. Braylon Noel not able to bring him down, but Gavin Coleman going to run him out of bounds. Going to be a gain of 5. It'll be 2nd and 5, and it will stop the clock with about 38 seconds left to go. Braylon Noel went in for the kill shot right there, not able to bring the receiver down, but a great job by Gavin Coleman staying with the play.
And you'd like to see Noel wrap up there and make the tackle. And that's something that has been an issue, is the run after contact, or if you will, breaking that first tackle. The Wreckin Rams have done a pretty good job of that tonight, of wrapping up and making that first tackle, but right there, Noel kind of didn't make it happen, and Barb was able to get a nice gain.
2nd and, let's call it a long 3, 2 receivers to the far side. It looks like Barb they want to try to get some points before the half. Gray going to roll near side. Gavin Coleman able to contain him, and the receiver not able to bring it in there. Looks like it was intended for number 32. Yeah, running back number 32. That's Ethan Joseph.
Yeah, when you make a play like that, when you're Gray and you make the right read and your receiver just doesn't bring it in, it starts to build on that frustration that you already have. It really starts to mount, and you can see Gray is just so frustrated with everything happening right here in this game.
3rd and 3. Ball at the 27. Snap. Handoff up the middle. Running back able to break the first line, and that's going to be just enough for a Buccaneer first down. It'll move the sticks and stop the clock momentarily. Keep in mind, Barb does not have any timeouts here, Nick.
Yeah, I mean, I would say if they really are trying to score points here, they're going to have to take a big chunk. They're going to have to get some big yards down the field.
2 receivers far side, 1 near side, and a wing out to the right. Snap. 5-step drop. He's being chased by Pop Francis. He's able to get it away. Keldrick Francis able to make a great play right there, knocking it out of the hands of the intended receiver. So incomplete with 10 seconds left to go.
Yeah, Keldrick hadn't had his name called yet so far, so he had to get his name called there with a great individual effort. But yeah, a nice pickup from Francis. Gray made a good throw, and Francis was there to knock it down.
And again, credit to Pop Francis right there to get Gray, on the run and really make him uncomfortable. 2nd and 10, ball at the 30. Snap. Handoff. Going to be brought down at the line of scrimmage. They'll give him a gain of 1. It's going to be 2nd and 9, and that's going to be the last play of the first quarter. It's been all Wreckin Rams so far in this one. Your Wreckin Rams lead 28-0 against the Barbe Buccaneers. Stick around for Wreckin Ram Productions. We'll bring you a little bit of a halftime show. You're watching Wreckin Ram Productions on YouTube. Welcome back to Wreckin' Ram Productions here at halftime, Alfred Barb Stadium, where your Wreckin' Rams hold a commanding 28-0 lead over the Barbe Buccaneers. The storyline in the first half, it's been the passing game. Caden DeBetta to Colin DeBetta. 3 passing touchdowns already in this ball game. In fact, Caden DeBetta with already 172 yards passing in the first half. And, I mean, it's just been an impressive display. You think of the Veer machine, you think of running the football, of course, and Acadiana has a stable of running backs, probably 4 or 5 that you can hand the ball to on any play. But again, the storyline tonight has been Caden DeBetta, his pocket presence, and been able to make good throws in any situation. Whether you give him time on the run, it doesn't seem to matter, Nick.
They haven't really called on him to, win a game for them so far this year, and he's proven that he can do it if you need it. So, I'm not sure that they needed him to win this particular game, but he's doing it. He's going back there and making the right throws and hooking up with his little brother for 3 touchdowns and just showing you that if you do need him, if you do need to count on him to make those throws and win a game later on in the season, he'll be able to do it. I've been very impressed with what he's done. On all 3 touchdown passes were just remarkable throws. I mean, just elite level passes, threaded the needle on the first one in the end zone, and then a great pass in that final one before half where he hit Colin in the end zone there. So, I mean, it's just, he's looked great. But honestly, Cole, he hasn't passed the ball all that much this year. Maybe not as much as some of us were thinking, but he's looked great. I mean, in everything that he's done, in his command of the offense and his decision-making abilities and the tuck and runs when he needs to tuck it and keeping the ball out of danger, not turning the ball over. He's just really looked good, and it's just so important to have him back there and the ability to just count on him to make the right play. And it's a comfort level for the entire team when they know when he's back there, he's going to do something special. And tonight is just showing with his 3 touchdown performance. So I've been very impressed with Caden all year long. It's not just this game. It's not just because he has 3 touchdown passes. It's flashy and looks great, and his stat line is going to look good tonight. But it's even when the stat line didn't look good in a couple of these games, he's just looked really good, had full command of the offense. So senior quarterback, man. I mean, how often do you have a team that has a senior quarterback like this and you can see the progression of where he is and where the team is? Sophomore year, make the playoffs, get beat in the second round. Junior year, make the playoffs all the way to the dome, don't quite get it done. Senior year, I mean, you're talking about state championship or bust, and I think it's just the natural progression with Caden and his ability to command the offense. So it's been nice to see him get a good stat line tonight, get 3 touchdowns to Colin and feeling good. But honestly, every game this year and all throughout the season, he's looked pretty good.
We say it, I mean, the seniors on this team, the leadership on this team in key positions, I mean, on both sides of the ball. We were talking about it at the break, folks. I mean, Acadiana's defense is what, Nick? At least 14 quarters of scoreless football. I mean, that's incredible. No matter what level you play at, that's absolutely incredible. And Acadiana, I mean, Barb had an opportunity to score earlier in the ball game. So,
Coach's box is next door.
Yes, sir.
Make sure y'all aren't coming to the other side.
Barb, excuse us right there, folks. But no, Barb had an opportunity to score earlier in the ball game, and Acadiana's Terrible Turks able to play some bend-don't-break defense and hold them scoreless in this first half. Again, 28-0 halftime score. It's just, there's so many storylines here. You have Colin DeBetta, the little brother, the sophomore, with 4 catches, 142 yards, and 3 touchdowns in the first half. You have Russell Babineau, who's caught some pretty good, passes earlier, made a couple of men miss. I mean, you just have playmakers all over the field, and I wouldn't want to be a defensive coordinator having to scheme against Acadiana because, you got to protect against the Veer, but it's this Veer 2.0 where, Caden DeBetta can take over a game. Russell Babineau can take over a game. Colin DeBetta can take over a game. So it's got to be a nightmare for opposing coaches. But before the game starts, the Terrible Turks, man, I mean, we've called Maureen Cooper's name all night. We've called Darius McKinley's name all night. We've called Pop Francis' name a couple times, Dalen Lewis a couple times. It's just there's not one person on this team that is carrying the load, and that's just a beautiful thing to watch because this is just so much leadership that can take you to that next level to that finish line, in the Superdome.
It's amazing when you have a game like this where your quarterback throws 3 touchdowns to his little brother, and you could argue that the storyline is the defense, right? I mean, that's
incredible.
the kind of dominant performance the Wreckin' Rams have had tonight.
Second half kickoff, high, deep, and in the end zone. So your Veer machine will have it 1st and 10 at the 20-yard line. As we begin the third quarter, again, we want to thank you for tuning in to Wreckin' Ram Productions. As always, your play-by-play man, Cole Gilbo, and then on the side of me, my good friend and broadcast partner, Nick Fodno. Thank you for again, being patient with us tonight as we do the commentary and bring you the camera work. I'm used to Nick. I'm used to the last couple of weeks. By halftime, you got that running clock going. You see some of the second string in, but credit to Barb to keeping this one somewhat competitive. Only up, 28. And usually, the last couple of weeks, we've been seeing a lot more than that. Swing pass to Babineau. Shoestring tackle. He breaks one. Still pushing that pile. Looks like they'll get a gain of about 5 or 6. Let's call it 6. It looks like it'll be 2nd and 4.
You could tell when Russell got that ball, he was thinking touchdown. I mean, he's 80 yards away from the end zone, and he was thinking touchdown right when he got the ball. So the shoestring tackle kind of kept him from getting a big game. But Russell has that big game mentality, big play mentality. When he gets the football, he wants to make something happen. And that's a big reason why he'll be at UL next year.
Okay, so I'm going to go talk about principal. See if he knows anything.
2nd and 4, ball at the 26-yard line. One receiver to each side. Handoff, Taden Collins breaks a tackle. He's across the first down marker, and that's a Wreckin' Ram first down.
Cole, I wouldn't expect to see Jonah a whole lot in this second half. I mean, I don't know how long the starters are going to play. It's a 28-0 game, so I would assume they'll play until we get to that running clock. But, I'm not sure how much Jonah will affect this game, how much playing him really matters to the outcome of this game. So I wouldn't expect him to see him a whole lot. I mean, maybe he gets a few carries here and there, but the Rams seem to have this game in hand without having to use him. And, if that toe's bothering him at all, I wouldn't expect to see him a whole lot in the second half.
And I agree, Nick, and hopefully Acadiana can just continue to drive this football and pad their lead. Handoff, Parker Bruno trying to find a lane to run. He'll get a small gain of 2, maybe even 3. We'll call it 2nd and 8.
Parker's kind of carved out that role for himself in this offense as that tough nose inside runner when you need some tough yards, when you need to soften up that defense. They kind of give it to Bruno and he goes up the middle and gets a yard. He only gets a couple there, but you can tell what his role is in the offense is to just soften up that defense and hopefully it softens him up enough to hit a big play on the outside.
2nd and 8, ball at the 35. Looks downfield. He's going to tuck it and run far side. He's got a man to beat. He breaks a tackle, and he's going to sneak his way across the first down marker, and Caden DeBetta with another heads-up play to move the sticks.
And that was not a design run, but he saw it immediately. That was his best play, right? And that's what we're talking about with the decision-making. Kids Caden DeBetta's age don't make decisions like that, right? And that was not a play that was designed for him to do what he did, but yet he saw it immediately that was going to be his best option, and he immediately tucked and maximized his ability to get the most yards possible. So, again, decision-making from Caden DeBetta has been at an elite level so far this season.
1st and 10, ball at the 46. Handoff up the middle, Bruno. Breaks a tackle. Breaks another one. Man, I tell you what, he's only going to get about 2, maybe 3 on that, but he broke about 3 or 4 tackles right there, Nick.
It's hard-nosed runs. It's hard-nosed yards. That's what Parker Bruno brings to the offense. All the running backs do that, right? They can break a tackle and get you those tough yards, but that seems to be specifically what Parker Bruno's role is. Hey, I need you to go up the middle and get as much as you can. It might only be 2 or 3 yards. You might get beat up and have to take a couple of hits, but that's what we need you to do to soften up that defense. And I feel like Parker has kind of accepted that role and is really starting to excel in it.
The Bruiser. That's my personal nickname for him, the Bruiser. 2nd and 8. Swing pass, Babineau. Trying to turn the corner. Breaks a tackle. He does turn the corner. Does he have enough for the first down? Yes, he does. A Veer machine first down on the reception by Russell Babineau.
Cool. We were talking off the air at halftime about overhearing what the Barb announcers were saying about this Wreckin' Ram team, and he said that they haven't played a team so far this year with the speed of Acadiana, and honestly, it's eye-opening tonight. they're a step faster than everybody on the field. And so far this season, I haven't really noticed it, but tonight it's really noticeable how quick this Acadiana team is.
1st and 10, ball at the 41. 5-step drop, looking deep. He's looking for Babineau. He takes a shot. 1-on-1.
Oh, my goodness.
Touchdown, Russell Babineau. The Raging Cajun reels in another one, and Caden DeBetta has his 4th passing touchdown of the night.
That ball was in stride. Babineau hauled it right in, outran 2 defenders. I mean, and you saw the speed on display there. He had 2 defenders on him, and Babineau hit that next level of speed and burst right past him to get the touchdown. What a pass. I mean, that was 40 yards in the air, on the money, a dot right to Russell Babineau. Caden DeVetta is on one right now, and I think he's in that mid-season form, and he's starting to feel it. He's been hearing a lot about, you haven't been throwing the ball that much. Well, look at him tonight. 4 touchdowns through the air, and all 3 passes have been spectacular.
Eddie Hernandez to kick. The kick is up. The kick is good. Nick, he had all day to throw, and that's because of the big men. We usually say that put the veer in gear, but the big men that have kept him clean tonight, that's Brody Estes, Braxton Scriber, Robert Welch, Kavini Wilson, Jaden Lawrence, and, of course, the tight end, Jaden Bassard. Got to show the big men some love. They kept him off the ground, and look what happens when you let him just throw the football around the yard.
You can't overstate that enough. It's a completely different assignment. It's a completely different ask of the offensive linemen when they're in pass protection. And you're mostly right. We talk about the offensive linemen when we're talking about them putting the veer in gear and doing keeping their assignments and creating those gaps for the veer to work. When you ask them to go back in pass protection, it's nothing like what they do whenever they're protecting for the veer to run the ball, and yet they're very successful. On 2 of Caden DeBetta's touchdown passes tonight, he's had a completely clean pocket and all day to throw, and he allows those receivers to get out there and get open when they're covered. We saw Colin covered on one of the touchdowns, and Caden just had enough time to throw it in there. Russell was blanketed, but Caden had so much time in the backfield to throw the ball, and he was able to deliver a beautiful pass. And by the way, going back and forth between Caden and Colin when you're talking and trying to you get tongue-tied a little bit.
Yeah, trust me, I catch myself doing that quite often. Eddie Hernandez to kick. This one's high, this one's deep. And they're going to say he caught that in bounds, Nick. He was in the end zone. Oof. So they're going to let that return go, but he caught that about 2 yards in the end zone. I was waiting for him to blow the whistle. They never did, but nonetheless, it'll be 1st and 10 for the Bucks, ball at the 28-yard line. And I'm not even going to go there.
Well, listen, it's not overly surprising that this game has really gone this way, but I'm a little surprised that Barb doesn't really have that much fight in this game. It's completely non-competitive, and Acadiana is just that dominant. And I think that even though we knew that Acadiana was really good and the best team in this district, I think they might even be better than we thought.
1st and 10, 3 receivers near side. They're going to motion the running back, 4 receivers near side. Swings it to the running back. Trying to find a lane, breaks 1 tackle. He's across the 30. He'll be brought down at about the 34-yard line, a gain of 5. It'll be 2nd and 5 for the Bucks.
That play's really been there all night for Barb, but they haven't been able to execute it. We've seen multiple drops by the receivers. We've seen multiple underthrows and bounce passes by Gray there, and right there. If they're able to connect on that play that's there, they get a nice gain. It's been there all night. And execution has been poor.
7:45 left to go in the 3rd quarter. Handoff. It's going to be a speed sweep to the running back. What a great tackle right there by Dalen Lewis and Gavin Coleman. They'll only give them a gain of 1, so it'll be about a 3rd and a long 3, maybe 4.
Yeah, Dalen was there first to kind of hold them up, and Lewis was there to clean it up and bring the receiver down. But, yeah, he was thinking 1st down, and I think he would have had it if Dalen doesn't come out of nowhere. And, again, individual efforts by this defense is not allowing Barb to get comfortable or have any sustained success and bring any sustained drives where they can get a couple of 1st downs and feel like they have something going.
3rd and a long 3. Snap. Fakes the handoff, rolls far side, still looking. Throws it downfield. He overthrows his intended receiver, and that's going to be 4th and short. And we'll see what Barb wants to do here. They're going to elect to bring the punting unit.
You just can't not take advantage of that play when Acadiana gives it to you, right? The right play was made. The receiver beat the defense. The quarterback had enough time to throw. You have to make that pass. It's just the only way. If Acadiana gives you something like that, you have to take advantage of it because Acadiana is not going to give you very much. And when you don't take advantage of it, they'll usually make you pay.
Good snap. Good kick. Going to be kicked out of bounds. Let's see where they spot it. They'll spot them at about the 41-yard line, and that's where the Wreckin' Rams will have it. 1st and 10. 6:56 left to go in the third quarter. Your Wreckin' Rams leading the Barbe Buccaneers 35-0.
Well, what do you think the offense does here? You think they're going to try to pound it on the ground and kind of control the game, control the clock, kind of burn some of this time? I think that's what they're going to try to do here. I mean, obviously we know that's what they like to do most of the times, and that's usually their game plan in most games. We've seen them air it out a little bit tonight, but I would anticipate them with a heavy dose of ground game and trying to just eat the clock, burn the clock. There's 6 minutes to go in the third quarter, so we're not at that point where you're really looking at the end of the game, but I would expect them to be a heavy dose of ground game on this drive.
Yeah, I don't expect them to keep airing it out. I mean, you got the game in hand, and that would just be bad sportsmanship. And as I say that, it's another swing pass to Russell Babineau. Turns the corner. He's across the 40, across the 30. Breaks another tackle across the 25. The ball's out. But he fumbled the ball there at the end, fighting for extra yards, but it does go out of bounds. Nonetheless, a great catch and run right there by Russell Babineau, and the Raging Cajun commit moves the sticks with another first down.
Cole, if you recall earlier in that first drive, they made that same play to Babineau, and he thought about taking it to the house. I mean, that's what he thinks when he gets the ball. They did it again on that drive, and he had a nice gain. And I think Acadiana sees something with that play. It's a mismatch over there on the outside, and they want to get the ball in Babineau's hands. And I think that's why they keep going to that play, and that's why they did it there, because they're seeing the opportunity for Russell to break a big one.
1st and 10, ball of the 13. Snap. Swing pass this way. Colin DeBetta breaks the tackle. Trying to get outside. The 10. The 5. Little brother with another. Let's see if they give it to him. They do. Touchdown, Colin DeBetta.
Well, Cole, that just proves that we don't know what the hell we're talking
about.
Yeah,
what are we talking about? We're thinking we're going to run the ball and kind of take our foot off the gas, and 2 pass plays later, your veer machine is in the end zone. I mean, Nick, that is Colin DeBetta's 4th receiving touchdown of the night.
It's unbelievable that they've been able to connect so often tonight, and Caden's just making these great throws. Colin's making these great athletic plays, and it's got to be fun for the DeBetta family to watch this unfold on the field, and these things that they probably talked about and joked about when they were growing up kind of happening on the football field.
Eddie Hernandez kick is up. Kick is good. 6:30 left to go in your third quarter. Acadiana all over the Barbe Buccaneers, 42-0. I got asked at the break, Nick, what was the school record for receiving touchdowns in a game? And we got to be at that point. I'm not sure the answer. I'm sure we have some historians at home watching this ball game that can maybe give it to us. But I got to tell you guys, it's been a passing clinic tonight from an historic run-heavy ball club. And there's no words. I've never seen Acadiana throw the ball like this, folks.
Yeah, you're talking about 4 touchdown passes for Colin DeBetta. I mean, we also got to talk about 5 touchdown passes for Caden DeBetta. I mean, how many quarterbacks in Acadiana history have thrown for 5 touchdowns?
I think it's 6.
You think 6 is the record?
No, I think 6 is how many. I believe he has 6. No, excuse me, it is 5. Caden has that rushing touchdown. Excuse me for that, folks. But I mean, it's just been, as Brett Lachele loves to say, the DeBetta to DeBetta show tonight.
Yeah. It really has. And, we were talking about the score being 42-0, and you're talking about that defense pitching another shutout, and it's almost being overshadowed by DeBetta to DeBetta. I mean, that's what you have, a complete team. The offense hitting in all cylinders, and the defense not allowing anything to happen on the other team's offense. So it's just been a really complete win tonight.
Eddie Hernandez kicks it high, kicks it deep, taking in about 3 yards in the end zone. And that'll be a touchback, 1st and 10. Bucks at the 20.
I think you needed a game like this. Cade needed a game like this because we talked about it off the air. We might have even talked about it on the air about how these are young kids. They hear what's being talked about. They hear reading the things on social media, on Snapchat, and their friends kind of talking junk to them and stuff, and about how we heard all this stuff about your high-powered offense and how much you were going to throw the ball. And Caden's number hadn't really needed to be called. in the first few games. And this one, he's showing that, hey, look, you guys want to call my number? You guys want to put it on my shoulder? Okay, well, I'll just throw for 305 touchdowns.
Well, that's kind of what I was getting at, Nick. I mean, how do you defend that? Because if you want to pack the box and stop the run, that's fine. But guess what? You're leaving one-on-one opportunities to Russell Babineau and Colin DeBetta, and that is a nightmare. Barb's going to throw a screen here near side. Running back not able to get away from Keldrick Francis. Great job right there for limiting him to about a 1-yard gain. It's going to be, well, they're going to call it a gain of 2. It's going to be 2nd and 8.
Cole, we didn't mention the 2 greatest words in high school football, running clock.
That's running clock, folks, for about the 3rd week in a row. Acadiana brings it to a running clock, and maybe we will get it home a little bit earlier.
Hey, you know what?
Me and you were talking. It was 28-0. I said, it might be a late night.
Well, we've proven that we don't know what we're talking about.
Yeah, so. No joke. 2nd and 8. Ball at the 23-yard line. Handoff of the middle. Burst through that front line. It's going to be an easy first down carry across the 40, and a good job right there by the Buccaneers to get a first down.
And look, I think it's just natural human nature for the defense to kind of soften up a little bit. You're up 42-0, and I mean, obviously, I think it's really important to them to keep that shutout on the scoreboard. I know that they don't want to give up any touchdowns, but allowing that big run right there, might wake them up here to kind of stop whatever Barb has happening here.
Again, fans, I want to thank you for your patience throughout as I work the camera. Doing the commentary and the camera work at the same time ain't always easy. 1st and 10. Gray trying to find a lane. He's going to run it near side. He'll get a gain of, let's call it 2 or 3. It's going to be 2nd and 7. A great job by him, a young quarterback, to keep the play alive, break a tackle or 2, and just get what he can out of that play.
Well, Cole, you were talking about your camera work earlier. I think it's great, but you've had a couple of weeks since you've had to do it. I mean, we've had the great home advantage of the cameraman and the people running the board and stuff like that. So right now it's a one-man show. I'm just sitting here like with my feet up calling the game, and you're doing multiple jobs.
Love the home broadcast. Again, producer Mr. Denny Edwards, we want to wish him well. He's actually helping out the Saints this weekend, so that's why he's not with us tonight. 2nd and 7. 3-step drop looking four-side throws, and he's got a man wide open across the 50 to the 45. He'll be brought down at about the 43-yard line. So enough for a Barbe Buccaneer first down. And that's the most wide open we've seen a receiver tonight. Acadiana's defensive backs have done a pretty good job tonight, but was able to create some separation right there.
Honestly, we saw it last week at Sulphur. That intermediate passing play kind of gives Acadiana fits. They end up cleaning it up and adjusting and not allowing it to hurt them. But even in the New Iberia game and the Sulphur game, that intermediate passing game, those teams were able to have a little bit of success with that play.
1st and 10, ball at the 43. Handoff, far side. Turns the corner, actually able to make a juke move or whatnot, back inside. He'll get a gain of 4. It's going to be 2nd and 6. Good run right there.
It does kind of worry me that the intermediate passes work for teams like this, because when you get further along into this season, Acadiana is so focused on not giving up the big play and stopping the run, and they do a tremendous job of that. But that intermediate passing play can really be a weapon for a more experienced or better offense later down the road. So that's something that I'm sure the coaches are looking at and figuring out ways to not let that be effective for other teams.
3 receivers near side, 1 to the far side, and a running back behind Gray. Far side receiver goes in motion. Handoff up the middle. He'll get a gain of, let's call it 4. Barb will be looking at a 3rd and about 2.
And just like that, quickly, Barb has something working here, and it's not penalty driven. It's not personal fouls and mistakes from Acadiana. This is just Barb doing something. The starters are still in the field for Acadiana, so they're not playing against the backups, and they've got something working here. Of course, they're down 42-0, so they probably don't have a chance to win the game, but I'm sure they want to put some points on the board and stop this zero streak that Acadiana defense has, the lack of points and lack of touchdowns. I'm sure they want to get something.
Keep in mind, this is their senior night, so they're not just going to throw in the towel here. Gray throws it across the middle. It's complete. Enough for the first down. It'll be brought down at about the 29-yard line, and another Barbe Buccaneer first down. This is definitely the most productive drive they've had all night, and it's because Gray has been able to just be a little more accurate with his throws.
And the receivers are making the play. The receivers are catching the ball. I mean, we've seen Gray make some poor throws, but he's also made some good ones that the receivers dropped. And so right now you see it kind of all coming together. Unfortunately for Barb, a little too late in the game to really have a chance to make it competitive. But Gray's making the throws, and his receivers are making the catches, and they're having success.
50 seconds left to go in the third quarter. Your Wreckin' Rams lead 42-0. First and 10 for the Bucks. Ball at the 28-yard line. Ball on the ground. Gray's going to have to pick this one up. He throws it way downfield. And he did have an intended receiver in the area, so it's not going to be intentional grounding. I mean, he pretty much just picked that thing up and chunked it.
Yeah, I don't know what he was thinking there. Either just try to get it out of bounds. Luckily, once again, we go back to the Saints. Unlike the Saints and Derek Carr, he actually got it out of bounds. When you try to throw it out of bounds, you have to actually get it out of bounds. And a good job from Gray, unlike Derek Carr, who couldn't get it out of bounds against the Chiefs minute.
Oh, great comparison right there, because that actually was pretty similar of a throw. But that's going to be the last play of the third quarter due to the running clock. And again, fans, your Wreckin' Rams all over the Barbe Buccaneers 42-0. We're going to go ahead and take a timeout here, but stick around for the fourth quarter on Wreckin' Ram Productions. Welcome back to Barb High School, fourth quarter with a running clock. Your Wreckin' Rams lead 42-0. Second and 10. Handoff. Looking downfield to throw. He's got a man, but it's well underthrown. Tried to make the adjustment, but not able to do so. Barb looking for a little trickery right there, not able to come up with it. I really think if the receiver, or I should say the passer on that play, would have put a little air under that ball, it could have been 6 points for the Bucks.
Yeah, they had it. They had the play, and they fooled him. And that's the second time they've actually run that play. They ran it earlier in the first half and kind of had the same, option or opportunity was the word I was looking for to get that play done. But they just can't. They don't quite have it down. The execution there.
3-4 side, one near side, handoff up the middle, looking for a lane. He finds a small one. They'll give him a gain of 5. It's going to be, well, maybe even 6. It's going to be 4th and 4.
Well, this is a big play for Acadiana. I mean, obviously the game's in hand. You're going to take home a W tonight. But right now, I think the focus is keeping that 0 on the scoreboard, right? That's a big deal. I think they want to do it. 3 straight games of a 0, 4 straight games of not allowing a touchdown. I think that's important for the Wreckin' Rams. And so this play right here being a 4th and 5, I think they're going to want to get off the field right here. So we'll see if Barb has something drawn up to get that first down.
4th and 4, ball at the 22. 3 wide receivers, far side, 1 near side. Snap. 3-step drop. Swing pass, he's got a first down. Across the 20, cuts it back up to the 10. He's across the 10, and that's going to be 1st and goal for the Bucks. A great play design right there.
Yeah, wonderful play, great execution. A little bit of over pursuit by the Wreckin' Rams, and Barb just makes him pay for it. Gets a nice gain into the red zone, and now this is it. Like, this is the game within the game, right? We talked about the game's over. Acadiana's going to win, but they're really going to try to get that 0 just as hard as Barb wants to take it away from him and put some points on the board. So it's a game within a game right now, and it's pretty intense actually.
1st and goal. This is the second time Barb has had goal-to-go opportunity tonight. Speed sweep to the wide receiver. Great tackle right there. Gonna lose, let's see. I think they're going to give him maybe a gain of 1 or 2. It's going to be 2nd and goal. Ball's going to be at about the 7-yard line, but a great tackle right there, not allowing him to turn the corner and possibly make his way to the pylon.
And Cole, we talking about this game within the game with the Wreckin Rams wanting to keep that 0 on the scoreboard. I would anticipate if they're able to do that, this will be a week-to-week thing where, teams are really going to be trying to get that 0, and Acadiana is really going to be trying to keep him out of the end zone.
2nd and goal, ball at the 7. Snap, handoff up the middle, breaks a tackle, breaks another, and there goes your streak. Touchdown, Barbe Buccaneers, and the scoreless streak is ended. Touchdown run by that's number 22, Jordan Griffin for the Barbe Bucks, and they find the end zone for the first time tonight.
I tell you what, you can see the fans down below us really kind of getting really excited for that touchdown, because I'm telling you, it was a little bit tense in here for a game that's 42-0, now 42-6. I think everybody was feeling that where the Barb wanted to get on the scoreboard and the Acadiana really wanted to keep him off, and so Barb gets in the end zone and ends the streak.
Kick is up. Kick is good. I mean, we mentioned it a couple times. It's senior night, right? This Barb team was not going to roll over. They wanted to, keep fighting for the home crowd. You mentioned it on the ride up here. Going on the road and holding a shutout, especially against an old rivalry like Barb, especially in Lake Charles, that's a tall task. So for Acadiana to basically hold them off the scoreboard to the 4th quarter, that's still something you could definitely hang your hat on. But that 15-quarter streak of scoreless football ends. But nonetheless, your Wreckin Rams still hold a 42-7 lead with 8:45 left to go in this ball game.
Amazing performance from the Wreckin Rams tonight. I mean, we didn't want to give up that touchdown there at the end, but that kind of stuff's going to happen. You're going to give up a touchdown here and there, but with the game clearly in hand and not in danger of dropping this game at all, the 42-7 advantage that you have, where you're just comfortably in the lead and just watching this clock dwindle down to zeros and getting out of Lake Charles, getting out of Alfred Barb Stadium with a W. There's been a lot of times where Acadiana didn't get that done. Last time they were here, it was tough. They got it done, but it was hard fought. So, you didn't really have to expend too much energy, and you're able to go home with a W.
Acadiana going to get a chance to return something here. Russell Babineau bringing it back across the field. Can he turn that corner? Breaks one tackle, not able to break another, though. Be brought down on about the 16, and that's where your veer machine will have it. 1st and 10.
So now I would expect to be a lot of ground game, a lot of controlling that clock and just burning the clock, getting first down, and taking us home. With the clock running, I don't expect to see a whole lot of fireworks going on. Looks like the backups are coming in. Tyler Martinez is going to be under center. So I would expect them to just execute their plays, try to get a couple of first downs, and get us home.
Ty Lambertina going to come in for the 3rd week in a row. And you get to see a little bit of the future here, folks. Me and Nick have talked about it time and time the last couple of weeks. Ty Lambertina, the future quarterback of the program. And looks like it'll be Parker Bruno and Logan Charles in the backfield. Snap handoff to Charles. Pushing that pile, keeping his feet moving. Look at this run, Nick. Looked like he was met at the line of scrimmage, but able to keep his feet moving for about a 4-yard gain. And I'll tell you what, Logan Charles is a really good-looking back, and I expect him, as the season goes on, to get more and more and more carries, because every time he touches the ball, he just makes us kind of open our eyes a little bit.
And when Charles is carrying the ball and Bruno is carrying the ball, you're keeping it away from Collins and Goche. They're not getting beat up. They're staying fresher, and you're allowing them to keep their legs fresh. So as much as Charles can give us, that will be great for the offense moving forward.
Handoff, Parker Bruno. Turns the corner on the far side, able to get first down, yardage across the 30, and that's another veer machine first down.
And we talked about Charles in the first carry. We talked about Bruno there. Like, it's just so important when you have players like Jonah Goche and Tayden Collins that you don't wear them out. And when you put Charles and Bruno in the backfield, you don't really miss a whole lot. They're able to carry the ball and do what they need to do to move the ball down the field and pick up first down. So it's a luxury right now that Acadiana has all these elite backs.
6:35 left to go in your ball game. Acadiana leading 42-7. Handoff. Logan Charles again. Can he turn the outside corner? He breaks the tackle. He's across the 40, across the 45, and he'll be brought down at the 45 for another veer machine first down.
Cole, you're right. He looks great, and he's playing into the theme of the night for me, which is the speed of this Wreckin' Rams team. He looks great. He looks fast. He looks quick. He looks faster than anybody that Barb has on the field. And I'm telling you, I don't know if they just turned it up a notch tonight or if I just wasn't paying as close attention to it as I have all season. But Acadiana looks very, very fast tonight.
1st and 10, ball to the 45. Handoff. Good little run right there. That was number 26, Deion Simon, on the carry for a gain of 5. And that's the first time we've called his name the last couple of weeks. I think he got some runs against New Iberia a couple of weeks ago, but Deion Simon checking into a game for a gain of 5 right there. 2nd and 5 at the 50.
Pretty soon, if enough of these games keep going this way where it's running clock late into the second half and the starters are out and the backups are getting in, we're going to know all of these kids by name. We're not going to have to go down to the roster and find their number because they're going to be playing so much.
I like to call that mid-season form, Nick, where you don't even have to look down on the roster anymore. I love that. 2nd and 5. Handoff. That's to Simon again. Going to be close to the stick. He might be a yard short. They will mark him a yard short. 3rd and 1.
Cool. Let's talk about these amenities here at Barb. It's really good. The press box here is first class. The stadium is first class. It's big. They have a lot of seating, and it's really nice when you're able to come to these Lake Charles teams, especially Barb and Sulphur. They have great facilities. It really makes you feel comfortable.
Yeah, I mean, I was truly impressed. This is the first time I've called a game from Barb since I've been a broadcaster for the Rams, and yeah, they have a very spacious press box. They've taken care of us tonight. Very friendly people. Handoff up the middle. I think this is Kinnerson on the run. Definitely enough for first down yardage, so that'll move the sticks for the Veer machine. And Troy Kinnerson Jr. gets his first carry.
This is exactly what we expected from this drive. Just run the ball, keep the clock moving. That's all we're trying to do. Keep everybody healthy. Don't try to do too much. Continue to move the chains, and the clock keeps running. Get us out of here healthy, and with the W at 42-7, you're not really trying to do too much else.
4 minutes left to go in the ball game. It's all Acadiana 42-7. Handoff. Breaks a tackle or two. Way to keep your feet moving right there, young man. I believe that was number, let me see. I think that was Sean Semo on the carry. No, excuse me, that was Troy Kinnerson again on the carry. So another good job by Troy right there to keep those feet moving, like I said, and get 3.
I like being able to see these young running backs because, like you said earlier, kind of gives us an idea of what's coming down the pipeline and what's going to be our offense, what it looks like next year. And it seems like Acadiana always finds a running back somewhere, and they have a stable right now waiting for their turn, and they look pretty impressive themselves.
Timeout down on the field. Acadiana's going to take a timeout. We'll take one final timeout with them. Stick around for the finale of this ball game. 3:15 left to go. 42-7. Your Wreckin' Rams lead. We'll be back with more Wreckin' Ram Productions. $3:15 left to go in the fourth quarter. Welcome back to Barb. 42-0. Wreckin' Rams in full control. Handoff. Trying to turn the corner. Not able to do so. Good job right there by the Buccaneer pursuit. They'll give them a gain of 1. It'll be 3rd and 5. On the carry was number 26, Deion Simon.
These games, these last 3 weeks, where you've just been comfortable and able to get these young players playing time, that really pays dividends down the road because now these kids, they're not going to be nervous when they get their first varsity action next year and in 2 years when these seniors move on. They kind of know what it feels like to be under these Friday night lights, and it's invaluable experience that a lot of teams are not really having right now.
3rd and 5, ball of the 35, handoff up the middle. Keeping those feet moving, able to break the first wave. That's Deion Simon again with a great carry right there and another Veer machine. First down.
Yeah, nice first down run there by Simon to kind of keep these sticks going. And again, this is exactly the drive that I was hoping for. I didn't want to give the ball back to Barb because I figured they were going to try to do some crazy stuff. But this is exactly what we needed. Just hang on to the ball and look. Now you're looking at 2 minutes and 5 seconds to go. They might be thinking end zone. They might be thinking score and try to get this to score up a little bit.
Let's see. Handoff of the middle once again, keeping those feet moving. They'll give them a gain of 4. Strong run. It'll be 2nd and 6. Ball is going to be inside the 20 at the 19-yard line.
The best part about this is if they would happen to get in the end zone and score another touchdown, there's nothing that you could say that they were running up the score, right? The backups are in. They're running basic plays. You know what's coming. You just got to tackle the man with the football, and they're just not able to do it. So there's no threat of anybody trying to say any shenanigans.
Handoff, Simon trying to get outside. He does. He's across the first down marker to the 5. He'll be pushed out inside the 5-yard line. First and goal, Wreckin Rams.
Now I say they're definitely thinking end zone. I think they're going to try to get it. They're not going to throw the ball. They're going to keep it on the ground. But I think those backup running backs and those young kids, they want to get in the end zone.
As they should. I mean, you worked to get down the field right here. And like you said, this is the second team. You gotta let's punch one in for the backups right here and go home really happy. First and goal. Handoff up the middle. Looks like Kinnerson. He's going to spin his way into the end zone. Troy Kinnerson Jr. punches it in for an exclamation mark, and your Wreckin Rams take a 48-7 lead inside of a minute left in this ball game.
Yeah, that's cool. That's a great drive. That's capped off with a touchdown for the youngsters, for the backups, and they did exactly what they were asked to do. Burn off the remaining, 8 minutes and 43 seconds of the clock, and they drove it all the way down and punched it in with a touchdown. So that's the exact drive that you want. Looks like we might have an injury on the field, Cole.
Injury down on the field, but we'll keep it here. We're inside of a minute left in this ball game, and I mean, this is the 3rd week in a row. It's just been all Wreckin Rams. But I can't go home without patting myself on the back a little bit. On the ride up here, we're talking predictions, folks, and whatnot. My final score prediction for this one was 52-7. We're looking at 49-7. So I'll take my being about 3 points off. I feel good about that.
I said 38-6. I mean, yeah,
right around there. Not terrible. Let's see. Number 61 is going to be attempting the extra point. That is Braylon Oye. He's listed as a sophomore defensive lineman. Tyler Martina to hold this one. Lefty kicker.
Uh-oh.
Flag on the play. This is probably going to be a false start. I hope they let him kick it.
Yeah, they'll let him kick it. See what he's got. Eddie, we talk about all the seniors that are leaving the team. Eddie's leaving as well. He's a senior, so he's not going to be here next year. So, you're letting your backup quarterbacks and running backs play. Let's see what you got. Let's see if you got a kicker for next year.
If I'm not mistaken, Oye did attempt an extra point. I'm not sure if it was last week or the week before. He attempted. I think he made it, actually. But this is not the first time I've called his name this year. But Braylon Oye, sophomore, to kick. Tyler Martina to hold. Snap is good. Kick is up. Kick is low. And no good.
Extra point is no good.
Nonetheless, 48-7. Your Wreckin Rams in full control. Under a minute left in this ball game, and it's been a fun one. If you haven't been tuned in the whole game, Acadiana with 5 passing touchdowns tonight. 4 of them to the little brother, Colin DeBetta. It's been a passing display. And that's something that we never say about the Veer machine.
I mean, this is the second straight week in a row where before you blink in the first quarter, they have 2 touchdowns on the board.
Against Sulphur, they had
2 touchdowns within the first minute of the game.
and this week they had 2 touchdowns.
Worth the first 3 minutes of the game, and you get these teams where they start to lose the game before it's even flipped up, right before the coin is even flipped. They start to just feel overmatched by what's going on. And it looks like I got some stats here. Caden DeBetta, 11 for 13, 291, and 5 touchdowns for the night tonight. So, I mean, that's a great stat line for Caden. It's got to be one of his best stat lines that he's had of his career.
Oh, I would venture to say it's probably the best stat line. And the cool thing about it is, on the ride home tonight, or maybe when you're back at home, you get to hang out with your little bro and say, "Hey, how about that?" This is one that you will never forget.
That's right.
4 passing touchdowns, older brother to little brother. I mean, that's incredible stuff. Eddie Hernandez to kick high and deep and taking in on the A of the Barb. And once again, Eddie Hernandez with another strong kick tonight. But fans, this is a running clock. I'll be surprised if Barb runs a play, Nick. Yeah, this is inside of 30 seconds.
Looks like the kids are running on the field.
Acadiana's bringing their defense on. No, that's going to be it, Nick. Barb's gonna take their offense off the field, and that's going to do it here at Barbe High School. Your Wreckin Rams with another district victory, moving themselves to 3-0 on the year. They win this one by the score of 48-7. I mean, what more can you really say? I mean, we've talked all night about the offense. I mean, but the defense, they did give up the first touchdown since week 3, but nonetheless, they limited Barb to virtually nothing. Barb was able to sustain some drives due to penalties. Gray is going to be a really good quarterback in the future. You could tell he was just kind of overmatched with the leadership and the seniority that Acadiana has on the defensive side of the ball. Barb gave it all they had. They had flashes where they were moving the ball pretty nicely. They ran some plays with some good designs, but overall, they didn't do it nearly consistently enough to make this a competitive game.
These teams that they've played the last 3 weeks, Acadiana has just outmatched them. And we're looking ahead of the schedule. You're gonna have another one next week in Lafayette High, and you're probably gonna be, you're probably gonna outmatch them as well. So, if I'm playing a devil's advocate, which I like to do, how much are these games preparing you for the postseason? How much are you learning about yourself and about your ability to make it happen when it matters? You're doing what you got to do against these teams. You're playing teams that you're better than, and you're beating them handily. So you're taking care of your business, and you're doing what you need to do. But how will the lack of competitiveness play for this team moving forward once you get into the postseason? Because once you get into the postseason, maybe save for like the first round, you'll probably have a cupcake in the first round of the playoffs. But after that, you're going to be playing big boys, and you're going to be playing teams that are going to be out there that are maybe equal to you. Maybe you might even play one that has enough to go. How much is this lack of competitiveness gonna affect them? I think the coaches are doing a great job of getting the kids prepared, focusing on that week to week, like we say, and they're just doing a really good job of having them ready to play each and every opponent. So maybe you're looking at it and you're saying they're not really playing a competitive team and they're not being tested. It might hurt them down the road, but I think the coaches just do too good of a job.
I want to make a point that I haven't really thought of until I heard you kind of say that. Is it fair to say that Acadiana, in your mind, has one of the best offenses in the state? Is that fair to say?
I think so.
Is that fair to say that Acadiana has one of the best defenses in the state?
I think that's easy to say.
These two offensive and defensive units go against each other 4 days a week.
Right.
So even though you may not get the competitiveness, against your district opponents on the field, I mean, you still got best on best going at practice. So I'm sure the coaching staff realizes that as well. I'm sure they test each other week in and week out. So, Matt has done a great job in his 7 years of really keeping these guys focused. Trust me, and we talked about it earlier in the broadcast. These are kids. They love stats. They love storylines, and they know all of, everything that we're saying. They know that with social media and whatnot. It's really hard as a head coach or a coach in general to keep your young players level-headed, but that's also where this senior-heavy team comes into play. Because even though they know all of that outside noise and they bring it in and they build off of that, at the end of the day, their goal is still to end up in New Orleans holding a state championship trophy. So it really is a deal where, these seniors have stepped up, the leadership has shown through. And I think they're guiding themselves because we talked about it. It's not one person anymore. It's a unit on both sides of the ball. They're playing off of each other. They're starting fast and really just putting games away early. And they're pretty much gliding to, it looks like a very high seed in the playoffs. And they're just gliding their way through the regular season and hopefully on their way to another District 3-5A title is what it's looking like.
The most impressive thing for me about the defense and the offense as well, but mostly the defense, is that they're doing this performance and they're getting big plays from multiple people, 5 or 6 or 7 names we call tonight, where, sometimes you can look at a defensive effort and you might call the same name 4 or 5 or 6 times and you're like, oh, okay, that one kid is just better than everybody else and that's why this happened. But with the Acadiana defense, You're calling Dalen Lewis's name. You're calling Valen Charles's name. You're calling Darius McKinley. You're calling Amarian Cooper, right? You're getting these kids to make individual efforts, and you're getting multiple kids to do it. So what that does is not only shows that you have a lot of talent on the football field, but it doesn't put a whole lot of pressure on one kid. Nobody feels that pressure to be the man on this team because they know they have 10 men on each side of the football that can be the guy that you need to make a play. And so, a lot of teams can ride one player to a state championship or ride a couple of good players to a deep run in the playoffs. But this team has so many players that can be the man for you on any given night, alleviating the pressure from the other kids. I just think it's just such a well-balanced team, a very complete team on both sides of the football with lots of playmakers. So, every week in the post game, we talk about the ability to win a state championship for this team and the fact that that's the goal for this team. It's a goal for Acadiana every year, but I think this year in particular, it's really the coaches' jobs to keep that pressure away from the team and not have to feel like the state championship or bust at this point in the season. Now, once you get to that point, then you start feeling that pressure. But you can tell with these last 3 performances, the kids are just focusing week to week. And that's what Matt says every week when I talk to him after the games. That's what he's going to say in a few minutes when I go talk to him tonight. We just focus on week to week, and the kids are doing a great job. And tonight they did a phenomenal job to come into Barb, to come into Lake Charles, and win the game 42-7. It's very impressive. The whole season has been impressive. The last 2 weeks with the shutouts have been impressive. But this win right here really shows me that this team knows what their goals are and they're going for it. And focusing week to week is the way they're going to get there. And a 42-7 score on this field, I don't think you're going to see that by too many teams.
Well, this was the last regular season road test for the Rams. They're going to play within the Lafayette area for the rest of the season. And with that being said, you get your favorite rivalry of the year next of all time.
Ever,
really. Yeah. You get Lafayette High Mighty Lions coming in to Bill Dotson Stadium next week, and that's the oldest, the strongest rivalry. I mean, it hasn't really been a game the last 2 decades, but nonetheless, you grew up in that area, in that era where Lafayette was, the game, and I know you're excited to call that one.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, I love it. For a lot of reasons. Number one, I don't really like those guys. I just don't. And number 2, we win. We win that game, right? We haven't lost since, 04 or 06? So,
06.
I mean, we're going on 20 years of just taking it to Lafayette High. So I would expect a lot of the same next week. But again, it goes along with what this season has become. It's become the week to week. And you played New Iberia, you played Sulphur, you played Barb, you got Lafayette High. You're better than those teams, and you know that. But can you focus on the week-to-week and not allowing these games to even get close or competitive? I feel like is a good sign for the team. They're focusing on that week-to-week. They're taking care of their business. And look, you can outman a team and still get surprised. They're not doing that right now, and so it's just been really impressive to see it. I would expect them to do that again next week against Lafayette High.
Well, this was another example, folks, of Acadiana doing what they wanted this year, which was being elite. That is the statement that they want to make this year, and this was no exception. Again, your final score from Barb High School, Acadiana 48, Barb 7. On behalf of Wreckin' Ram Productions, I'm your play-by-play guy, Cole Gilbo. On the side of me, my very good friend and broadcast partner, Nick Fotno. Y'all go ahead and have yourselves a great weekend, and as always, once a Ram,